The place, the Richfield Coliseum. The date, December 30th. Watch this run by Carl Valentine to the corner. No place to put it but off the boards. Number 3, Dennis Mepham, a shorthanded goal. That turns out to be the game winner in a crucial game in the Eastern Division as the Cleveland Forest defeated the Baltimore Blast. Better than 17,000 were on hand. They joined in a major celebration at the Richfield Coliseum. They're expecting pretty close to that same crowd today for these two top flight teams. ESPN and Bud Sports present the Major Indoor Soccer League Game of the Week. From the Richfield Coliseum, it's the Baltimore Blast and the Cleveland Force. Today's game is being brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all that you do, this Bud's for you. By Spalding, the official ball of the Major Indoor Soccer League. And by Domino's Pizza. Avoid the noise. Domino's Pizza delivers. One call does it all. Richfield Coliseum between the major cities of Cleveland and Akron, Ohio. It's the Cleveland Force hosting the Baltimore Blast. A pleasant good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Paul Della Camera, along with Ty Keogh, substituting for Seamus Mallon today, who could not be with us. Ty, a former player of the Major Indoor Soccer League who closed out his career with the Kansas City Comets a year ago. And Ty, a look at the standings will show just how significant this game is this afternoon.
This is a great rivalry of the MISL, and particularly at this point because these two teams are involved in a dogfight for first place along with Dallas.
Now for Baltimore, who trails second place Dallas and first place Cleveland, they'll need a big effort from some key guys to beat the Force today, not the least of whom is Bruce Savage.
Bruce Savage playing in the defense. He's arguably the best man-to-man marker in the league. We'll be watching him. Keith Furphy, an old Cleveland Force fan favorite here. It'll be nice to see what kind of reception he gets for this game. Also, the new acquisition for Ken Cooper, Drago, he's going to add some impact to this game, no doubt.
Now, Cleveland will have something to say about Baltimore, too. They've beaten them the last 4 times they've been in this building, and like Baltimore, they rely on some key players as well.
That's right. We have Kai Hoskevy. You know, Cleveland is on a roll this year, and possibly because Kai Hoskevy is back to form. Also, we have Carl Valentine, always a dangerous attacker. We'll have to watch him. And in the back, Bernie James, one of the toughest defenders in the league, leading the league in block shots.
It should be the goalkeepers today that you'll be seeing. P.J. Johns for Cleveland, who is 7-2, and Scott Manning, who was injured most of the year for Baltimore, going up against the Force. Scotty's tough in the big games. We'll be back with a kickoff in just a moment. Order of business before the kickoff is to introduce you to the December winner of the Metropolitan Life Trophy. And to do those honors, let's go downstairs to the public address announcer, Howie Chiswick.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like to direct your attention to midfield. This year, for the very first time, the MetLife Trophy will be presented to the most outstanding player in his first year of competition in the MISL. In addition to the annual award, there'll be 6 monthly winners selected during the regular season. With us today from Metropolitan Life's National Sports Programs Office in New York is Ann Krikora to make the presentation of the MetLife Trophy for December to Force defender John Stolmeyer. Congratulations, John, and thanks to MetLife.
Here's a look at John Stolmeyer, who was the winner of the MetLife Award for the month of December. John Stolmeyer, Tyke, not just any rookie, he has a lot to do with the Cleveland Force and their overall offensive and defensive scheme of things.
He's been a big contributor so far for Cleveland this year. He's stepped right in. He's done a lot of hard work all over the field. I saw him Friday night. Good compliment to Bernie James. He's very physical as well, and he comes in and helps out a lot when Bernie's marking man-to-man with other players.
I'd like to tell you that the Blast and Cleveland Force is sponsored by Patrick Soccer Uniforms. Patrick replica jerseys of the Blast and Force game jersey can be purchased at your local soccer equipment retailer. Patrick, the leader in soccer uniforms, shoes, and accessories. All set to start things off. Drago up front with Michael Brady starting out, and Vernon Skinner. It is Mike Stankovic and Bruce Savage joining him. in front of Scott Manning. And on the opposite side, Stolmeyer on D with Bernie James, Kai Haskeby, Carl Valentine, and Craig Allen in front of that man, P.J. Johns. 3.77 goals against average. More importantly, 7-2 when P.J. has been in goal. And there's Scott Manning, a 5.00 average, but it's misleading. He's 1-2. He's been injured a good part of the year, but a lot of people will take Scott Manning when the games are on the line. And at one time, he had 14 consecutive playoff wins going over a 3-year period. He knows how to play in those big games. Drago's second game for his new teammates. He scored the game winner the other night against New York. Drago has the ball at midfield. The referees, Gino DiPolito and Marty Templin on the floor. Frank Fien in the box. Mike Stankovic with the ball. 4 goals the other night against New York. Bothered by a bad back, a chronic back injury. We'll see how he goes with it. Down the left side for Drago. Has it knocked away. Picked up by the rookie Brady, but the shot is blocked by Bernie James, the career block shot leader in the MISL. Stankovic with a header, and now it's Carl Valentine the other way. Valentine, one of the hot force forwards. Left side, Bernie James. Off the boards, and Manning dives. You don't want to have Craig Allen wide open there. Bruce Savage was on him at that time. And now the ball is knocked out of play. Last touched by Valentine.
Ken Cooper's being true to his word that he gave us before the game that he was going to be using his rookies. And right off the bat there, we had Michael Brady and Vernon Skinner starting off for Baltimore.
Ken Cooper using quite a few rookies. And in fact, in that trade for Drago, Kenny's getting 2 draft choices next year. The 2nd and 4th picks of the Chicago Sting. On the right side, a Stankovic shot was deflected wide of P.J. Johns. Valentine bangs it off the boards. Former force Andy Chapman hustling for it, but it's Stankovic. Mike Stankovic with 16 goals this year. He had only 19 all of last year. He can score. He's got a powerful right foot. Stankovic picked up now by Haskeby. Stankovic lets it go. It's low and wide and picked up by Valentine. We're in the opening minute and change of the opening quarter. It's scoreless, 13:52 to go in this first quarter from the Richfield Coliseum. A great crowd on hand. Force leading the league 3rd straight year in attendance. In the corner now, Savage getting in there. Right back to Scott Manning. Long toss. They want to spring Furphy, the former force member. P.J. Johns has to win the ball there. Leaves it off for Kai Haskeby. Furphy trying to get the first goal of the game. And here's Peter Ward on the counter. Force bring it back up. Great work rate by Billy Ronson to win the ball.
Savage again showing the man-to-man marking that he can do. He's breaking up the plays.
And he does it so well, Ty. No penalties as we look at a foul there. No penalties in 108 games. That's even tougher to do as a defender against the top guns of the league.
That shows real experience as a defender. He doesn't have to resort to the physical type play.
A Drago shot is wide. Brady rebound missing. Drago was allowed to pick it up. Now it's Michael Brady from American University. Slides it right side to Ronson. Benny Dargo with a block. Good hustle. Brady takes over. Back heels for Ronson. It's still scoreless. 13 minutes straight up to go. First quarter from the Richfield Coliseum. McKenzie to Mike Reynolds. Back towards Dave McKenzie, but it's cut up by Ronson. Billy Ronson had a couple of goals last year in his MISL debut in a game televised by ESPN, but the Blast didn't do well as a whole. They lost 9-3 in San Diego. Cleveland changing up. Gino DeFlorio out for his first shift. He has 15 goals this year. Former member of the Force Reserve team. Here's McKenzie. Off the boards. He was looking to pass it. No one picks it up, and it's knocked out of the zone. Peter Ward was bumped, and the foul is going to be called in Baltimore, who we should point out are playing today without Richard Chinapoo. That's a major loss for them. Chinapoo out with a hamstring pull. He's missed the last 2 games. Cleveland going without Ali Kazumani, one of the top up-and-coming players in this league, but they've gone without him for a while with some knee ligament problems. Also Mike Sweeney out, among others. On the left side, Ward can't find the handle, but Billy Ronson can. It's still scoreless. 12:15 to go. First quarter. Baltimore won 1 time this year against Cleveland. In Baltimore, Cleveland won the rematch here, but Cleveland has won the last 4 times. Not since the 84 regular season has Baltimore won during the regular season here in Cleveland. Stankovic knocking it off the boards, and the ball is deflected into the crowd out of play. With us break in the action, 11:59 to go, and this, the opening quarter of play. These 2 great teams are locked up in a scoreless tie. Early to tell you who's doing well in this game. It's scoreless, but Ty Q and I will have the honor, or maybe the bad luck, because sometimes it's tough to pick the best players of the game. The player on each team receiving the MetLife Award for players of the game. So Ty and I can look forward to that. Usually when it's 2 teams like this, it's usually a tough choice.
Certainly.
A lot of candidates. John Stolmeyer, who won the MetLife Award for the best newcomer for the last month of December, out there with Bernie James, and it's James with the ball. Left wing to Florio, picked up by Vernon Skinner. Out to Dennis Mepham. He had the shorthanded goal that beat this club on December 30th. Stillmeyer to Peter Ward. Picked up by Savage. Blast with 2 fouls. The Force with 1. Remember, if you get 6, you have to sit out. 1 man in the box for 2 minutes. The way Baltimore's been playing this year on specialty teams, tell you what, you don't want to be Cleveland giving up a cheap penalty, because Baltimore right now ranks as number 2 in power plays, number 1 in penalty killing. Cleveland 8th in the power play, 4th in shorthanded. Up the left side, Vernon Skinner with speed, lays it off to Andy Chapman. Across for Murphy, but it was blocked nicely by Valentine. Still a scoreless tie from Richfield. 2 teams who will be among the leaders when this year is over in the Eastern Division. Here's Valentine the other way. And it's going to be deflected all the way back to Bruce Savage. In our last televised game, Savage was marking Drago. Now they're teammates. So Savage won't have to worry about that anymore. He can root for Drago. Good ball, Stankovic to Skinner, wide open. Stillmeyer has to get him, and now he blocks the drive. Now it's loose ball off the boards. Skinner after it, along with Murphy. Murphy, one of the most popular players to ever play for this franchise. And now it's Skinner playing it all the way back to Savage. Bruce Savage at his own red line, still scoreless, up for Andy Chapman, knocking it back, intended for Stankovic, and then Valentine makes his second good defensive play of the game.
We're seeing the typical intensity of a Baltimore-Cleveland game here. And myself as a player, I loved coming into these kinds of games. When you know something's at stake with a great rivalry, it's easy to get up for it.
Kai Haskeby will slide it right side for Bernie James. Bernie, a tough man to play up against. Tattoo found that out the other night, as do a lot of other players who play the game physical, because Bernie plays it as physical as anyone. He's tough. Haskeby now for Bernie James. Bernie broken up. Good play by the quicker Billy Ronson. Up the right wing. Got around Haskeby. Here's a chance for Baltimore. Good run by Brady on the left side. But it's 2-on-2. The shot taken. Knocked into the crowd. P.J. Johns with a nice save.
Great run by Billy Ronson there. He has that high work rate. He's a motor man. And he took the ball all the way down the field here. You see him. He takes Bernie James along the boards. Spurts past Haskeby. And here he's in on goal with a possible 2-on-1. He elects to shoot. The last second, and we have the save going over the glass.
So P.J. Johns, who came into this game with a 22-13 lifetime record, knocks that one upstairs. He is another former member of the Force reserve team. Ball is played out right side. Quick shot too high off the glass, and Haskeby will come away with it. Long ball for Valentine. It's too long, and Manning is there. That one will go over 3 lines. I should point out that the Force reserve team basically works out with the major team here. Only difference is they're not in the regular lineup. Benny Dargo sending it in. Loose ball, Allen missed. He gets a second chance, and the ball takes a funny bounce on him. Craig Allen, one of the great scorers in the MISL, knocked away by McKenzie. Boy, Scott Manning is glad plays going the other way. Stankovic in a scoreless tie, going against Haskeby, 2 perennial All-Stars. Stankovic, Haskeby playing him not to go to that right side. Now Stankovic goes left, and it's blocked. That was like a chess game.
Well, Stankovic can hurt you a lot of different ways. He's one of the most versatile players in the league, and he's very dangerous. Even with his left foot, he can hammer it.
Stankovic goes across the way, and now it's Keith Murphy. You can hear the booing now in the background. I said before, he's one of the most popular players, but that's when he played with Cleveland. Hey, you change your uniform, and you're the enemy.
He definitely's got the wrong uniform on today.
McKenzie, left side. Mike Reynolds off the boards. He was looking for Ronson, broken up. McKenzie, nice play to keep it alive. Ward will block it, but the blast put the pressure on, and they keep possession. Reynolds.
I was afraid this was going to turn into a bit of a tentative game early on, but both teams have come out gunning, and we've seen some good chances on both goals.
This is Drago working it down the left side, and Dargle takes it away. Baltimore started out the year 7-0, and they've been 4-7 in their last 11. Drago is going to help this club. He gives them a new dimension that they just have not had this year. And he's already helped in his first game. Dennis Mepham with it. Takes it all the way to the left side. Mepham leaves it off for Pasquale DeLuca, who scored a great goal the other night against Dallas. Turning is Peter Ward, knocked away. Mepham keeps it alive. Mepham forced out by Skinner. Benny Dargo. Right wing pass for Gino DeFlorio. Slides it for Benny Dargo, broken up, and players collide there. They're going to call a foul the other way. And incidentally, if a whistle blows now in the box, last year it would have been a penalty kick if the defending side took you down. This year, Ty is down there. Ty, it's more of a judgment call, and it could be just called a foul and just give you a direct kick instead of a penalty shot.
But Gino DeFlorio there, a bit unselfish. He really could have taken a shot himself. He saw Benny Dargo running through the box, tried to get it to him, put it a bit too far out in front of him.
In this case, though, they're calling the foul the other way anyway, but I just wanted to make that point in case it does crop up a little bit later on as Scott Manning slides it right side. Here's a look at the stat we just gave you about Baltimore's great start. Skinner leaving it off. Confusion there for Baltimore. And now Dennis Mepham looking, was going to play it back. It's still scoreless, 7:20 to go. First quarter of play between two outstanding rivals. Baltimore has knocked Cleveland out of the playoffs. They did 3 consecutive years, and then Cleveland got even with them last year. Shots on goal, Baltimore with 4-0 for Cleveland, although they were wide on a couple of chances, but those are obviously not recorded as shots. Bernie James sending it long for Gino DeFlorio. Heads it back. Peter Ward. Double team foul from behind by Andy Chapman. Third foul on Baltimore.
We have Chapman and Furphy, both forced players last year, out there on the floor. It makes things interesting.
A Mepham shot scooped up easily by Scott Manning, who extols to the troops to go forward and now leaves it off. A lot of room here because they're changing up on the fly. Now Drago sends it the other way. Cleveland on a 4-game winning streak. They've also won 4 straight here. But Cleveland, one of the better road clubs as well. They were a 500 team last year on the road, but only San Diego, as I recall, had a winning record. And Cleveland has had one of the better road records over the last 4 years since Timo Liakoski has been their coach. Long ball, Craig Allen. Trapped it with the right foot. Dave McKenzie in there defending. Too tightly, they're going to give McKenzie the 4th foul. Quick restart. Broken up by Skinner. Good quickness there to break up Haskeby. Now it's Valentine. 4 fouls against 3. Almost 5. No whistle. Here's Valentine. Stumbled as he tried to shoot it. And now Brady can't clear it out. Bernie James spinning. Drago right on him. Now for Stolmeyer, the rookie. And a good one he is. Right side. Valentine. Nice turn, but then it's broken up. Good support by Stankovic. After Valentine had beaten the first play, the rookie Skinner. Bad ball right there, and Manning comes away with it. Haskeby, though, didn't get it where he wanted to, or we might have seen Cleveland get the first goal. Drago slides it now for Stankovic. Lead ball for Drago. Takes it off the boards. And now it is P.J. Johns. Left side for John Stolmeyer. We have 5:28 to go, first quarter. It is scoreless, Baltimore and Cleveland.
JP, sorry. We're going to have to keep this straight. You know, you're JP, we got PJ Johns,
and you're Kai, not Kai, right?
Kai, yeah.
Here's Allen wide open to Stolmeyer. They didn't see him, and Manning made the save. There was a mix-up there on Baltimore's part defensively. Haskeby with a nice tackle off Drago. Kai is healthy this year. We talked to him before the game. That's made a difference.
That's for sure. The last couple of years, he's been hampered by those knee injuries and hasn't really been able to do the things that we know he could do. But this year, it's been a different story.
Murphy in the right foot. Blocked after Drago's first shot missed. Played in for Ronson. That's missed. Cleveland scrambling to move it out. Reynolds keeps it alive for Drago. Give and go beauty. His shot was wide. That's the give and go the way it should be played, but Drago just missed, and he won't do that very often.
Yeah, a couple more of those, and they'll be in the back of the goal.
Left side now for Keith Murphy, playing in his 255th consecutive game. On the right side, Savage. Headed away by Valentine, but no one was breaking up there. Haskeby was going off in a change. Manning will slide it past DeFlorio. Savage looking for Ronson. He had to win that ball, or Cleveland could have had a quick counter, but Cleveland will get it anyway. Carl Valentine. Cutting to the right side. With speed in the corner. Pressure there. Still holds it. It's knocked out to Dennis Mepham. Mepham has to wait, as now he's joined defensively by DeLuca. Dargle also there. Benny sends it in for Gino DeFlorio. Tight marking by Savage. Now it's Dargle, the crowd, which could be worth at least a goal a game in this building. When you've got it loaded like this and the fans are so loud, they can help you. Here's DeLuca. Right side for Valentine. Going against Reynolds off the boards. Nobody there for the rebound except for Andy Chapman. Chapman trying to pass it off the glass for Ronson, and it goes out of play. We're still scoreless. 3 minutes and 30 seconds still to play in this, the opening quarter of play. And Baltimore and Cleveland look for that all-important first goal.
Here we see Drago setting up a well-executed give-and-go to find an opening in the Cleveland defense and just shooting wide. He really found some daylight there, and usually he doesn't miss from there.
And that was the best scoring opportunity of the opening quarter play, but we still have 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. And it's the force nothing and the blast nothing. but this game has all the intensity of the typical Cleveland and Baltimore situations, and most of them have been playoff type of atmosphere, and I think we're still going to get that before the day is over. We look at Drago. That headband, by the way, in writing was saying before the one he had on, Hello Baltimore. That one looks like just a regular blast headband, but he had one earlier in the warm-up that said Hello Baltimore. On the left side, I think the fans will love him down there. Pasquale DeLuca now plays it out for Dennis Mepham. Mepham started out his career really as a defender. They moved him up to midfield, but he could play either place. DeLuca up for DeFlorio, and now Savage sends it back for Scott Manning. It's still scoreless, 3:10 to go. First quarter, long throw for Drago. That did not go over 3 lines. Great ball. Drago cutting. Left-footed shot just wide. Brady trying to settle the rebound down. Finding Stankovic against Mepham on the left foot, but it's broken up.
Drago looking very dangerous coming down, and great throws from Scott Manning. He's been launching some good attacks. He just missed one with Furphy a few minutes back.
That's one of the new elements that have been added really to the Baltimore attack, that the breakout speed, the chance for the goalkeeper to make that home run toss. Savage going long. Looking over the shoulder is Skinner. Benny Dargle nullifies that attempt for Dennis Mepham. Chapman putting some pressure on. Look at the high pressure that Baltimore is putting on, but the Force bring it up. Ward over midfield, now into the attack zone, picked up by Skinner. Peter Ward to Benny Dargle. Locked it off the right foot as Chapman tried to make the play. Benny still fights for it with help from DeFlorio. Wide open is DeLuca if they can find him. DeFlorio, I thought spotted him, now plays it back to Dargle. Over to Dennis Mepham. Trying to see what he's got out there. It's still scoreless. We're approaching 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. Savage and DeFlorio to the boards for it, and the foul is going to be called. And this one goes against Baltimore, so it's even at 4 fouls apiece. On the restart, Savage to Stankovic. Mike Stankovic having another all-star year for him, but you've come to expect that. On the right side, Bruce Savage. Back for Stankovic. Now Cleveland picking up at the red line. Up the left side, nice turn by Reynolds, and Ward fouls him, but they let play go on, play continue. It's a give and go and a score. Nice goal by the rookie, Mike Reynolds from Keith Furphy, and the rookie from George Mason will remember his first pro goal.
It was a great individual effort there. He was nearly brought down by Peter Ward out near the red line there. He keeps his balance, continues in, gets a nice ball from Chapman. Then Keith Furphy sets up in the box, lays it back off, and it's a tap in at the far post.
Here's another look. They let play go on time because there was an advantage.
They gave the advantage rule. Actually, Reynolds was fouled, and a lot of guys would have maybe taken the dive and gone for a penalty or a foul there, but he was hungry for a goal, and he was well rewarded.
So Mike Reynolds gets his first pro goal, the assist to Keith Furphy. Baltimore takes a 1-0 lead. Mike Reynolds, his first goal of the year, he played at George Mason, where he was coached by Gordon Bradley, former pro coach at the outdoor level in the North American Soccer League, and now a very successful college coach. And we're starting to see a lot more of the college players coming out of the MISL.
On Cleveland's part there, it's a bad time to give up a goal with only 1 minute 40 seconds left in the first quarter, so it may set some of the pace for the rest of the game here.
Stolmeyer looked for Valentine, and nice play there just to get in the way on the part of Skinner. Those are dangerous balls that come right across that goal mouth area. Now Bernie James with 1 minute 15 to go. First quarter, Cleveland down by 1. Haskavy against Mike Brady. Kai to the left. Takes it off the boards. That's a pass, not a shot, but there was nobody there in the arc. And now it's just simply cleared out by Billy Ronson. He was doing that because of a line change. That gives his team a chance to get fresh troops out there without any problem. Hey, we don't have it on camera because obviously we're following the game, but Kenny Cooper is hugging his player Reynolds on the bench, congratulating him for his first professional goal. Now it's Stolmeyer getting it away off the boards. Hops on Valentine, banged high off the glass. Bernie James will settle it down. Craig Allen. Off a touch to Haskavy from Stolmeyer. Right back for Bernie James, but it's right at Manning, and he's going to throw it long. Wants Drago with speed going up against Craig Allen. A collision there, and the foul is going to be called. Foul on Drago. That could be a dangerous one because that's their 5th foul.
I'll tell you what, it's not that often you see Craig Allen sprinting towards his own goal like that. That was a tough defensive play on his part.
And Terry, you got to remember as we look at the replay of Bernie James, just didn't get enough on that shot. Craig's bothered by some bad feet, actually, and he's missed several games this year. He's got it now in the corner. Has not been able to practice too much with the team. They just want him to be able to play in the game. This has to be on the takeover. In the corner, double team. Maybe he'll draw a foul here. 10 seconds left. For Valentine, the shot deflected wide. Allen turns, but can't shoot. Time running out. 4 seconds. Allen still with it. McKenzie right out on the shot through a screen. Manning pounces on it as time expires. What a great finish, though, to the opening quarter of play. And at the end of one quarter of play, the goal by Mike Reynolds from Keith Murphy at 13:20 was the only goal of the quarter. After one, it's Baltimore by 1 over Cleveland. We're coming right back. But they're averaging 13,659. There is more than that here, and for the last 2 years, they've led the league in attendance. A great job by the Wolstein family. Bart and his wife Iris and son Scott, they've done a great job with this franchise, and Al Miller, the GM and company. Here's a look at that only goal of the quarter.
Yeah, you can see there, you have to give some great credit to Mike Reynolds for his persistence and determination in following this ball up. Initially, he was fouled and could have been pulled down. I'm going to give a little credit to the referees there, too, for letting the play
Absolutely.
on. Otherwise, the whistle there on the initial foul, and you don't have the goal.
That was sort of like a Cleveland Browns attempt to tackle, wasn't it? That was a real way to tackle. There's a look at the stats, and Baltimore out shooting Cleveland 7-2 in the saves, give Manning 2 and P.J. Johns 1. How about Cleveland blocking shots? 5-0 for Baltimore. Cleveland have 2 of the better shot blockers in the league in Bernie James and Benny Dargle. Second quarter underway. DeLuca as the two teams change ends for Benny Dargle in the box, but there's no one home. Stankovic now wants to settle it in traffic. It's a 1-0 Baltimore lead. If you just joined us, Mike Reynolds' first pro goal from Keith Murphy at 13:20 of the first quarter. Savage plays it back now to Scott Manning. Baltimore has a nice, pleasant situation. 3 fine goalkeepers, but they will play with 2 for now. So Jay McCutcheon, who did a nice job in Scott Manning's absence, will have to be content right now with being the third goalkeeper. Keith Van Aaron, the number 1 keeper statistically in the league, is the other. Here's a shot taken and stopped on the short side by Manning off of Gino DeFlorio, who comes into the game tied with Haskavy with 15. Well, we hope you'll be joining us here on ESPN, 11 p.m. Eastern Time for the East and West in the All-Star Classic, Wednesday, February 11th from the Fabulous Forum in Inglewood, California. That should be an outstanding one. Those MISL All-Star games seem to have a little more intensity than some of the other All-Star games that we've looked at in other sports, as DeLuca just sends this one wide to the right and no good.
That was a little different than the one he scored Friday night against Dallas. He laced one from way out into the upper corner. He must not have been concentrating enough on this one.
So the ball will be put into play by Bruce Savage on the restart. Savage, one of the best man-to-man markers, as Ty Keogh said, in the MISL, and he's such a skillful player back there that in 108 games, just 1 penalty. That was it. Long ball over 3 lines, and that's the only time you'll get a line violation in the MISL. If the ball goes over 3 lines like that in the air without touching the boards, a player, or a referee. If it hits any of those, the play would still go on. Dargle the other way. The only other time you can put it over 3 lines in the air, not have a problem, is if you are shorthanded by 2 men down. Ball is cleared all the way back the other way, and now it is Pasquale DeLuca holding on to it. To the right side for Dennis Mepham. And now it is Benny Dargle holding on to it. Cleveland looking to generate something here. Baltimore playing them pretty tight right now defensively.
Exactly. In fact, Mike Reynolds doing some good defensive work in this game other than the goal he scored. He's matched up with Peter Ward right now. He's right behind him there trying to deny him the ball.
Drago to Furphy now for Stankovic, and here's Drago, number 11. Wears the headband, which, like his bald head, will become part of his trademark. Plus, he goes by the one name now, dropping the last name, which was mispronounced almost in every city he was in. It was Dumbovic, or Dumbovic, or whatever else you wanted to call him, but it's just Drago. For Stankovic, knocked away. Here's a chance for the counter. DeFlorio, though, was looking for help, and none was coming. All kinds of red jerseys coming back. DeFlorio shoots anyway, and it's wide.
Unfortunately, Cleveland was making a change at the time. He didn't get much help. It could have turned into a 3-on-3 or a 3v2.
On the right side, it's Savage, knocking it ahead for Andy Chapman. Chapman, when he played for Wichita, back-to-back great goal-scoring years, 53 and 48. Stankovic holding it. Chapman just did a complete run around him, and now he'll have the ball. Strikes it hard, right foot, wide of P.J. Johns, but the rebound came out. No one there to knock it home. Up for Craig Allen. In the last 4 years, only Jungle and Stamenkovic had more points than Allen. James the other way, trying to get through. Reynolds broken up. Reynolds slow to get up. He was plowed over. Up the right side. You know how that feels, don't you? Down the right side.
It's a rough collision with Bernie James. You might as well run into a concrete pillar.
That's the last guy you want to run into. But he's up and okay, apparently. Here's Valentine the other way. Craig Allen. He plays so well with his back to goal. McKenzie knocked him down, and a foul is called. And now in the restart, this year all kicks are direct, so they can score right off of it. Here's a quick shot to a screen. Blocked in front. Stolmeyer fitting for a goal there.
Good hard low shot there, and I don't think Manning had a good look at it. If it hadn't been blocked by one of his defenders, he may have had some trouble with it.
Kai Haskeby on the right. Plays it up for Allen. For Valentine. His shot blocked wide. That one changed direction. Off a deflection again. Baltimore trying to move it out. Stolmeyer leaves it. Nicely for Haskeby. Smart play by the rookie from Indiana. For Bernie James. Going up against two players. Takes it. It's too high. Allen wanted that rebound, but it was too high for him. And now a trip on the part of Haskeby. Billy Ronson wanted a 2-minute penalty, but instead, all Baltimore will get is a foul. And that has the Baltimore Blast bench up in arms.
Well, that was an intentional foul. Kai Haskeby slipped and could see that he was going to have no chance to get to the ball, so it's a tactical foul. He wanted to make sure that Baltimore did not get the numerical advantage.
Or call it a smart foul since there was no penalty called on him. And now there'll be a restart on the direct kick. Other games going on today. Chicago with new coach Eric Geyer now 3-1 over Kansas City. Here's another.
Here we see Cleveland's last direct kick after Allen was fouled. He plays it into the box. It's laid directly back out. Stolmeyer really got a hold of that one. Put it on goal. It was unfortunate it was blocked.
You're right. Manning was screened. In fact, that whole side to his left was unguarded. Had that ball been deflected to the far post, it was a tied-up game. Right now, it's 1-0 Baltimore. Stankovic sending it in long. Headed away the other side. Haskeby on the go. Valentine breaks with him on the right. Allen goes to the box. Off the boards, intended for Valentine, but read well by Dave McKenzie, formerly with the Pittsburgh Spirit. And now on the right side, a Stolmeyer drive wide. Manning looked like he was fooled on that shot. Stolmeyer keeps it alive for Allen, who wants to turn. Sends it out. Stolmeyer again, way wide on that shot. Haskeby cranks it again, high off the glass. It's a shooting gallery in Richfield. Stolmeyer with it. The crowd loves it. They're not scoring, but they're putting the pressure on.
The man to watch here is Craig Allen, who's posted up in the box there. He's the one, you get the ball into him, and he's a prolific scorer. He can set up other players, or he can turn with it.
Valentine now leaves it off for Allen, who's vacated that spot. Valentine moves towards it. There's so many players that can play that role of a target player. Now Allen going back, but it's knocked away. Baltimore put enough pressure on to get it. But the Blast are having trouble. McKenzie in the corner. Taken away by Haskeby. Stolmeyer begging for the ball at the left point, but Haskeby was fouled from behind and never had a chance to see him.
Haskeby drew that foul to a certain extent. As you saw, he put his body way over the ball, anticipating the hit from McKenzie, and he drew the foul.
Kai Haskeby, direct kick blocked by Furphy, but right out to Stolmeyer. Cleveland gets the good bounce. 1-0 Baltimore. Played right in, quick flick, Allen, the right-footed shot is blocked. Manning again looked screened on that play, but the Blast have now managed to block a couple of this quarter after not getting any in the first. Now it's left with a heavily taped Skinner. Stankovic. Allen really working hard defensively.
Great pressure by the Cleveland team, and the crowd is reacting to it as well. They're getting into this game.
Valentine breaking it up. Stankovic stays with it. Foul called on Baltimore. Foul on the Blast. Right now the Force have 1 foul, and the Blast have 3. A little pushing they're going to call right there on the part of Stankovic. And now up the floor, back the other way. Long chip. And Manning is right there. Scotty right puts it ahead, but Dennis Medlow will trap it downfield. Upended by Savage. Listen to this crowd getting into it on the right side. Savage. Lead ball for Drago, broken up. I should say Billy Ronson. Now it's intercepted. He shoots at an empty goal, but forced that shot. And didn't have a chance maybe to settle it down, and in his rush just missed.
He wanted to get it off before P.J. Johns got back in the goal. It was worth the effort. When you got an empty goal, you got to go for it.
Mike Brady. Lots of times you're not expecting that empty goal, and it looks so easy. It's easy up here, isn't it?
Yeah, it was high pressure, and he knew P.J. was getting back into the goal, very quickly.
That goal is not usually open for too long. If the goalkeeper's out, he's going to scramble back in there, or someone will get in there, maybe a defender, and knock it off the line. Reynolds, who has the only goal of the game, back for Savage, now to Chapman. Played back to the keeper, Manning. Pressure put on by DeFlorio, but Manning finds the hole. Mepham after, double team, and it's taken away. Good high pressure there. Now it's knocked away. Good tackle by Mepham. Murphy on the left foot, trying to cut it back into the box. Murphy's booed every time he touches the ball. He was a hero here just a couple of years ago. P.J. Johns throwing it long for DeFlorio. Johns has 3 assists this year. Slow ball back. Oh, that could have been costly.
That was an uncharacteristic play by Stankovic.
Yeah.
Usually one of the surer players, the more experienced players in the league. He almost got caught there, giving the ball away right in front of his own goal.
My former colleague, Shep Messick, used to call that a hospital ball, and for good reason. Shep now playing with the New York Express. Player-president. They've got a game going on today as well against Tacoma. Peter Ward takes the shot, double-teamed in the block, and Stankovic with a little push, and then Ward went down.
I wouldn't call that a little push. He had that arm right in the middle of his back and just flipped him over.
I thought Ward was trying to draw that a little bit, but Stankovic very strong as the ball is cleared. Intended, they tried to pass it to Bernie James high off the glass, but it was a bit too high. So Baltimore, with 8:21 to go in the half, still holds on to that 1-0 lead thanks to the goal by rookie Mike Reynolds. 1-7, and make sure you allow yourself a lot of time because that MISL book is extremely thick, but it's everything you wanted to know about all kinds of records and statistics of the major indoor soccer league. Haskavy heading it upfield. Craig Allen waits. On his left foot, the shot blocked. Nice block, Dave McKenzie. May have saved the goal.
Good recovery by McKenzie. Initially, he was out of position and had slipped. He got back in there to block the shot.
Allen right across, and that ball seemed to have eyes on it. Didn't want to go in there for Cleveland. Now it's Bernie James in the corner. Carl Valentine knocking it up.
Let's see if we can close in on the matchup between Allen and McKenzie in the box.
For Bernie James, down to the corner. Bernie back and a score. It's tied.
Bernie James, one of the fan favorites here in Cleveland, follows up a ball that he shoved in the corner to Carl Valentine. Valentine alertly giving the heel pass back to James. On the full run, he puts the ball low into the back of the goal. A great goal for the defender, Bernie James.
All right, so it's Bernie James from Carl Valentine at 7:16 of the second quarter. That's the tying goal. We'll be coming right back. It's even at 1 for Richfield. Well, we'll probably find out in the next few minutes, Taikio, just how big that goal was. It certainly got the crowd back into it, and it ties it up at 1 on Bernie James' first goal of the year.
And a good goal at that. A hard shot. Nice heel pass to set it up. The crowd reacted well, and they want to see more.
Ball played upfield, and now it is Bruce Savage the other way for Drago. The game breaker for the Blast. Against Bernie James. Knocked free. Drago off the glass. The rebound. Brady couldn't shoot. Drago can. What a big save for Johns. That's the save of the game.
It was a great save by P.J. Johns as he threw his body across the goal as Drago thought he had a pretty much of an empty net.
Ball is played back to P.J. Johns by the rookie Stolmeyer. Long toss up the left wing for Craig Allen, and Skinner cut him off. Okay, we've talked a lot about Stolmeyer. It's got to be a good break for him to be playing with a veteran like Bernie James back there in your first year. Bernie had the rookie Charlie Morgan last year who broke his nose earlier this year, so he's been out of the lineup as well. Bernie gets to train the younger players. James sending this one long. Into the corner, Craig Allen. Allen was right up around 50 goals a year from Valentine. Blocked, and it comes out to Furphy. Furphy lost it. Haskavy now to Bernie James. The boos quickly turn to cheers when Furphy lost it. On the right side, Valentine, who's having an outstanding year, knocks it back out for Bernie James. His goal tied it up just about a minute or so ago. We've got 6:22 to go before halftime, and it's a 1-1 tie. Allen, couple of fakes. Bernie James again coming in deep. Bernie now tries to bring it back out for Haskavy. Knocked away, but right to James. The shot blocked by Furphy. Drago finding Stankovic. Stankovic, with those long strides, now leaves it off. And Savage finds Drago at midfield. Drago plays it on the give and go. Can't find it. Stankovic can. Another give and go, but Haskavy and Dargle read it.
Cleveland doing a good job of getting a lot of players back and congesting the area in front of their goal. There's not much daylight for Drago and for Stankovic to work in.
Cleveland actually does that, bringing players back in their own third as well as any team. They can pack that box defensively. Peter Ward with it. Back for Benny Dargle. Benny, I think, tried to make a cut and then lost his balance, it seemed, as Chapman almost took it away, but Dargle recovers. Left side, Dennis Mepham almost gave it away to Ronson. Cleveland cannot make anything out of that. They're lucky they just got the ball back, actually, as Mepham is there. Baltimore put on a little bit of pressure there. Ball played up the floor. Savage knocks it away for Andy Chapman. Chapman in over the line. Right-footed shot. P.J. Johns is there. There's no rebound.
See how he tried to get that off very quickly without much preparation, hoping to fool P.J. and have P.J. not be prepared for the shot.
Well, they know each other from playing on the same team as last year. That's always an interesting matchup. The shooter thinks he knows how to beat them, and then it's a psychological battle between the two. P.J. knows where Chapman likes to go, but then maybe he tricks him and vice versa. Ball is played upfield now by Brady, the impressive rookie from Baltimore. Now it's Peter Ward, taken down by Ronson. Play goes on. They just rule that that's incidental contact, and now Bruce Savage back for it in his own end. Plays it all the way back for Scott Manning. It's tied at 1. We've got 4.5 to go in the second quarter. Should point out for those Blast fans that Paul Child is healthy and able to play. He just hasn't played a shift so far, but he's on the Baltimore Blast bench. He is not a scratch in the lineup. Here's Furphy. Right side brings it back in, but P.J. Johns is there as the Blast simply lose it. And now it's Peter Ward in a 1-1 tie with 4:09 to go. Second quarter for Dennis Mepham. Over the line, marking him up is Billy Ronson. Now it's DeLuca to Stolmeyer. John Stolmeyer holding. Now for Pasquale DeLuca, member of Canada's World Cup team. Several MISL players fall into that category, including Carl Valentine, who originally was born in England, but became a Canadian citizen as well. Mepham knocking it back now to Stolmeyer. Cleveland playing with a lot of patience here, too.
Well, they've got the game where they want it to be right now. They've been pressuring, they've evened the score, and now they're going to let the crowd work in their favor in the home field advantage.
Right side, Ronson. Now to Dave McKenzie. McKenzie long, and the header goes up high and into the crowd. Nice attempt that time by the Baltimore Blast. Mike Reynolds, who had the first goal of the game. Reynolds the goal, James the goal for Cleveland. It's even at 1.
Cleveland has done a good job here of getting back on defense. Here you see the ball changing hands, and immediately you see the yellow players come back in pursuit of Chapman. Chapman trying to angle a quick shot in on P.J. Johns.
Our next telecast here on ESPN, Wichita and the St. Louis Steamers, live February 1st, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. That's always a good matchup when those two clubs meet. That game will be at the St. Louis Arena. Steamers lost a tough one in overtime last night to San Diego 3-2. This ball sails over 3 lines, and the ball comes back the other way. How about this interesting note? Bernie James had only 1 goal all of last year. It was against Baltimore, and it was a game-winning goal.
He gets pumped up for the big ones, and I know he figures he owes a few to Baltimore for those years that Baltimore knocked Cleveland out of the playoffs.
Well, his job is defensively, and if he can get something offensively, that's a bonus. Right side, now it is Furphy. I don't even have to say who has the ball. The way the crowd is going, you know.
It's funny with Furphy, one of the more colorful players in the league, and a Farmer favorite here. I played with him in Kansas City last year, and he had a very warm reception when we came to Cleveland. But now in a Baltimore jersey, I don't think it works. In the Kansas City jersey, maybe.
It was okay? That was like neutral colors.
Yeah, exactly.
On the right side, Savage plays it for Drago. Furphy, though, still one fine player. And he's got some great statistics in his long MISL career. Right side, Drago. Off a deflection and comes back out. Reynolds, who had the first goal of the game. Plays it easily to Furphy, off the boards for Drago. He tried to flick it back for Reynolds, who was in a little deep. And now Savage is there. Left wing for Drago. Drago takes Stolmeyer down and out. Drago trying to shoot it. Bernie James upended Drago. And now it is Carl Valentine. Brady, though, with a tuck to keep it in for Stankovic. 2 4-goal games already this year for Big Mike. But he's playing despite a chronic back problem. Back is a little tight. He said it would hurt him when he turned, and I think that would bother him more defensively if he had to make the quick turn. We haven't seen him really take many shots today, so we can't tell you what effect it's had there so far. Dave McKenzie with it. Played in more games than anyone else in the MISL. Most of them with Pittsburgh. He'll take this shot, and that goes wide. Off the boards, McKenzie tries it again. Loose ball. Kept alive by Brady, now to Stankovic, who covers up for McKenzie back there. Baltimore coached by Kenny Cooper, one of the all-time great coaches in the MISL, and one of the great salesmen of the game.
Stolmeyer just pushing Drago off the ball there, showing the type of strength that he has.
Valentine back to Stolmeyer. Now to Kai Haskavy. He sends it in long. Cleveland was trying to change up there, and now it's played back for Scott Manning. With 1:23 to go in the second quarter, it's still even at 1 goal apiece, and now it's Mike Brady. Over midfield, long ball for Billy Ronson. Has to settle it first. Now plays it out for Brady. They crisscross across the way to Skinner. Vernon Skinner, a shot through a screen. And PJ never saw that one, but he didn't have to as it was blocked in front of him. Haskeby with it. 1 minute to go before the half. And it's a 1-1 tie as Haskeby plays it for Bernie James. Now Mepham comes on for Haskeby. And it's Benny Dargle, number 15 for Cleveland. For DeFlorio, and that's broken up. Ronson tried to hit Chapman, but it was on the wrong side of him. Communication breakdown there. And now Dennis Mepham at midfield, lobbing it right side. Headed toward Manning, and right at Manning, in fact. He makes an easy play off DeLuca. Manning now for Keith Murphy, down to 30 seconds. Good low pass off the right wing boards for Chapman against Mepham one-on-one. Dennis Mepham plays him tough, and he goes down, and a foul is going to be called on Andy Chapman. That should be Baltimore's 5th foul, unless they've already posted it. Nope, that's 5th. They had 4 up there for a second. 21 seconds left. Cleveland would love to draw another foul here if they can on Baltimore. Brady turning it back. Off the boards, wants his own ball. Smart play. Down the left wing against Dargle. 10 seconds left. He scores from a bad angle. What a big goal. And you talked, Ty Keogh, before about a bad goal near the end of a quarter. This is 10 seconds from the end of the half.
A great individual effort by Michael Brady, the young rookie. He really had 3 or 4 players to beat. He alertly used the boards to beat a couple of them, followed up, and then scored from a bad angle. It must have surprised P.J. Johnson he would even try and shoot from that bad of an angle. Here you see him circumventing the 2 defenders and winning the race into the corner. And I think P.J. may have been a bit screened by at the last second when the Cleveland defenders put his foot in, attempting to block the shot.
Let's take a look on this replay at where he is. He's way over on the near post, and that one goes far post as we take another look.
A bad angle shot. There's that foot coming in, and P.J. Johns just didn't get a good look at it.
Timo Liakoski will talk about that one in a few seconds. In fact, in 6 seconds, unless Cleveland equalizes it. And even if they do, Dargle will shoot it wide. Timo will be upset at that last goal as the horn sounds, ending the first quarter of play. But what a difference it means for Baltimore, and we'll talk about this when we come back to go to the dressing room. Instead of being tied at 1, they're actually ahead 2-1 on a fine individual effort by Mike Brady. Brady's 4th goal of the year. It comes at 14:50, just 10 seconds before the end of the first half. And at the end of 2 quarters of play, Baltimore leads Cleveland 2-1. The Richfield Coliseum, where at the end of the first half of play, it is the Baltimore Blast leading over the Cleveland Force, and the score is 2-1. We welcome back our viewers here on ESPN. I'm John Paul Dellacamera. Along with me is Ty Keogh, filling in today for Seamus Mallon. Now, Ty, as a former player, has been in this situation, I'm sure, several times. Your team scores a goal. You're pumped going into the dressing room. 10 seconds before. Let's take it from Cleveland's standpoint, Ty. That's an awful time to give one up.
Exactly. They had changed the momentum of the game when Bernie James getting the equalizer, and they're walking in thinking, the game's going their way. All of a sudden, with 10 seconds left, it's a completely different story. Baltimore walks in. They're all pumped up now. They're ready for the second half. Right now, I think Cleveland has to focus on what's coming up next, not what happened in the last 10 seconds. They got to come out strong in the 3rd quarter.
Let's take a look right now at the standings. We've already told you how important this game is in the Eastern Division, and a quick look will tell you why. Cleveland percentage points ahead of Dallas, and then they're up over Baltimore. Minnesota, after a horrible start for them, are coming into life. And Chicago, right after Eric Geyer took over for Willie Roy, they started to come alive as well. They had a big home win the other day against Tacoma. The Express trying to rebound from that awful start, but they've played better since Don Popovic has been there, although Popovic is not technically on their bench. He has been running the practices and working on the tactics with that team. On the opposite side of the Western Division, Tacoma was threatening to run away with it. Now they're involved in a very tough Western or road swing where they're playing 4 straight games on the road. San Diego struggling for them. And then it's Wichita, Kansas City, Los Angeles, and then the St. Louis Steamers, who came back from a 3-game West Coast swing in which they dropped all 3 of those games. But what we're finding out in the West is the same thing we're finding out in the East. There's even more parity than when you were playing last year.
Yeah, there's a lot of concentration at the top. Any of these teams are contenders, and they can make a go of it. It just depends on some of the breaks, the injuries, and as we close down the season, getting some momentum.
All right, let's take a look at some of the games coming up this week in the Major Indoor Soccer League, and you can tell just how important they are in the standings. Tacoma is playing at New York. That's later today. Los Angeles at Minnesota. We gave you a score before. Chicago was ahead of Kansas City. If we get those scores given to us this afternoon, we'll pass those along to you. Tuesday, Wichita plays in Los Angeles. LA starting to get some of their players back. They're going to be a tougher squad. Wednesday, Kansas City at Chicago. San Diego pays a visit to the Steamers in St. Louis. On Thursday, Tacoma continues on the road. They'll be in Baltimore. That should be an interesting matchup. Friday, Chicago at Cleveland, a battle of 2 Eastern teams. Los Angeles plays at Dallas. They had a 7-game winning streak snapped here the other night by Cleveland. Minnesota at St. Louis, and then Tacoma will be continuing their road swing. They will take on Kansas City. That is this week in the Major Indoor Soccer League. We'll take you to the weekend. Cleveland at New York. St. Louis travels to Baltimore. Dallas at Chicago. Wichita plays at San Diego, and Minnesota plays at Los Angeles. We are here at halftime at the Richfield Coliseum. We remind you of the score. Baltimore leads Cleveland 2-1. Stay with us. Ty and I will be back with more at halftime. Halftime, it is a 2-1 lead for the Baltimore Blast as we take a look at some of the top scorers in the Major Indoor Soccer League. Tattoo, the brilliant forward for the Dallas Sidekicks, on top. 28 goals already. That means he's thrown 28 jerseys into the stand. So 44 points leads. Haskeby next with 36. Eric Rasmussen, tough injury. He's out for about 10 weeks, so he'll not have any points for a long period of time. The young star Preki in Tacoma with 34. Goosen's having a great year in Kansas City, and Segota is always great for San Diego. He has 34 points there. On the goalkeeping side, goalkeepers' averages this year seem to have gotten a little bit lower than they were in the previous, and Keith Van Aaron, who last year broke Slovolievsky's record with a 3.66 average, is threatening that one with 3.18. Sobieski, the defensive player of the week in the MISL, and I should point out that Craig Allen was the offensive player this week. Sobieski is having another great year, and he's won 12 games and lost 6. And then you have Zoltan Toth, Joe Papaleo, P.J. Johns, and Alan Mayer. Those are the top goal scorers. Right now at this time, we'd like to talk to you about the Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star Classic. It's coming up in February the 11th in Los Angeles, or outside of Los Angeles at the Forum. And Ty Keogh would be a good person to talk to about that, about the intensity level. Shep Messing and I, when we did the game last year, we talked about it. Maybe it's because the players feel that they still have to sell the game, but you have guys putting in an unbelievable effort in there. And maybe it's because, they're all all-stars and they just enjoy playing with some of the greats.
I think they're trying to show their stuff against the best. It's a matter of pride. You get in there with the best players. You want to show them that you're among them and that you can dominate them. So every All-Star game I played in, it was intensity all over the place, hard fighting. And normally I was with the underdog Western Division, so we fought a little bit extra hard because we felt that the guys in the East always got a little bit more of the publicity and whatnot. So we had a little bit of a vendetta to go after, and it helped our intensity, and we were successful. All 3 times I played, we won.
What's it like with the chemistry time? Because you don't normally get a chance to practice that much, and especially last year because of bad weather. I think at the luncheon there might have been 8 to 10 players that were even absent. So is it just the greatness of the players that allows you to blend like that on an all-star game?
Exactly. There's not much you can do in one practice anyway. What it is when you're playing with very good players, they establish an understanding very quickly once the game situation is present. In a practice, it's a bit false anyway, so they get it done on the field.
It's 2-1 right here at the Richfield Coliseum. We hope you'll be sticking around. The finish promises to be as good as the beginning. Baltimore leads 2-1 at the half. Tuning in, this is normally what a television production meeting looks like when we get set to do these games here over ESPN, but this is all staged. They're not taking over anything in Richfield, Ohio, and we'll have our game for you in just a few minutes. Baltimore is leading over Cleveland by the score of 2-1, and Ty Keogh will take you through the highlights so you'll know just why Baltimore has got that lead.
Here we see Mike Reynolds showing determination. He's almost pulled down, gets a pass from Andy Chapman, lays it into Furphy for the give and go, and beats P.J. Johns at the far post with the low roller. Great second effort by Reynolds. As you see here, he's nearly pulled down as Peter Ward trying to stop him. Some players would have probably gone down on that one, but he wanted to go to the goal, and he was well rewarded as he put it in.
Time of the goal was 13:20 of the first quarter. Reynolds' first ever professional goal from Keith Furphy, and then Cleveland ties it.
Here's the ball. Bernie James getting a ball from Stolmeyer, poking it into the corner. Carl Valentine with a heel ball. I mean, that's a flash of brilliance there. That caught the Baltimore defense totally off guard as Bernie James followed up that heel pass and buried it behind Scott Manning. Nothing Scott Manning could do. You see the run Bernie James has onto the ball, and he just drives it low into the back of the goal. And the fans went crazy because at that point, Cleveland was down 1-0 and hadn't been generating too much. It really got the enthusiasm of the game up. But as we see in just a few seconds after this, with 10 seconds left in the quarter, Baltimore comes back into it. Michael Brady, a great individual effort. He beats 2 or 3 Cleveland defenders with that ball off the boards, wins the foot race into the corner, shoots from a bad angle, and P.J. Johns just didn't react to it. I can't imagine. It must have been at the last second Benny Dargle sliding in
and possibly blocking his view of the shot. Michael Brady making a steal at midfield, showing great speed and determination to follow this up. And at this point, you figure he's out of it. He doesn't have a chance to score, but he makes that extra effort and really gets a good shot in.
And the reason why that goal was unassisted, he intercepts the pass made by Gino DeFlorio, and there's the critical time of that goal at 14:50 of the second quarter. Shots on goal in that second. Cleveland, like Ty was saying, was starting to get themselves in a good position. They were out shooting Baltimore 9-4. As we look at the rest of the stats, one of the things that I'm really impressed with, though, in this game, Ty, we'll get your comments on it, is the way Baltimore's rookies are playing. I mean, with all the great players that they've got, it's James and Brady that have the points and the big plays.
That's right. They're fitting right into Ken Cooper's system. I think, you're seeing the Baltimore Blast here without the great player Stan Stomenkovic, and I think they realize that they have to play more as a team. So it is more of a team system. These young players are fitting into it very well. It's easier for them when there is something that's more set to walk into. Before, I think they used to more just run and gun and play off a stand. It would have been more difficult for them to break in at that point.
I mentioned before that a lot of the injuries that both of these teams have had, and the one guy we forgot to tell you about was Tim Whitman. He has an ankle sprain, so he has not seen any action. He did play the other night against New York. There's your score. Baltimore leads it 2-1. We'll have the second half for you from the Richfield Coliseum in just a couple of moments. Of things about this game is the crowd, and we've not gotten an attendance figure as of yet, but this is one of those franchises where the Wolstein family came in, and it's a hands-on ownership. It's not like they've hired great people and they let them do their jobs, but the Wolstein family has an active hand in everything that's going on here, and this is the third year that they've led the league in attendance, and that's no secret, the hard work and the time that they put in. But Ty, this franchise, when you were playing, they were averaging 3,000 plus a game when the Force were here, and they're the only original franchise. Now, not only do they have this, but they put together the Budweiser Soccer Classic in college, and they're making plans to do all kinds of other things coming up.
Yeah, it's been a real labor of love for the Wolstein family. It's great to see the success that they're getting now.
It's well-deserved. Minnesota leads Los Angeles 2-1. That is at the half. Game being played in Minnesota. Chicago still on top of Kansas City. Same margin, but it's now 5-3 as the Comets, after a great start, have really started to hit some skids there. Maybe it's the weather that they're having in Kansas City. Who knows? But those are the other scores as we see our score again. Baltimore leading at 2-1. And we look at some of the fans, the faithful here in Cleveland. What a year it's been in sports. The Indians had a great year for them. I mean, they didn't win the division, but what a year they had. The Browns, people were throwing dog biscuits out on the field. And let's hope that no matter how successful the Force are, I like the dog biscuits better with the dogs, not on the field. That could be, imagine you running out there and tripping over dog biscuits. But that's what happens. Now the players starting to throw some of the miniature soccer balls into the crowd, part of the love relationship between the players and fans, unlike other sports where you can throw that stuff up there. And I like that sign. Ty and I made that one up before today's game. Don't forget that later on, Ty and I will be giving you the Metropolitan Life Players of the Game, one from each side. We'll do that towards the end of the game. Talked about this great Force franchise. We also want to say that they do so much in terms of charity. Bernie James, Benny Dargle, chairman of the Cystic Fibrosis 65 Roses Committee to raise money for cystic fibrosis. And perhaps more than any other team, this club has worked a lot on drug and alcohol abuse. They talk to a lot of kids. Here's the third quarter now after a long halftime delay. We'll see if that's had any effect on the players. It's played right into the box. P.J. Johns wanting to get a good look at this one as Craig Allen will knock it away.
Craig Allen doing some good defensive work there, and that's not his specialty. He's playing with an injured toe and an injured foot and hasn't been able to practice much. So his fitness may be lacking to a certain extent, but he's still been working hard.
Ball played up the floor now, and it's the Blast who lead at 2-1. Goals by Reynolds and Brady, who just joined us, two rookies. Bernie James, the veteran, getting the equalizer at the time for Cleveland, but now they need one to tie. That last goal came 10 seconds before the half came to a close. Bad time to give one up, but a great time for Baltimore to score. If you're a Blast fan, now it's Haskavy across the way to Craig Allen. Picked up by Drago. Now for Valentine. Out for Stolmar to Kai Haskavy. Haskavy among the all-time leaders in points for the Major Indoor Soccer League. Leads this club. Allen held by Skinner. And now this ball is just booted straight upstairs. And the ball will revert to Cleveland, but they got a good break there in the fact that there was no foul called. Allen was really held on to by Skinner.
Kai Hoskevy, always one of the stronger players in the league, having a brilliant season this year. He's finally healthy after a couple seasons fighting the knee injuries. But the plus 17 it's amazing to be up that many goals in terms of having been on the field when your team scores and not being on the field when your team is scored against.
He leads the team in assists and points, tied with DeFlorio with goals with 15. And the only reason Craig Allen's not up there, he had a 6-goal game against Kansas City, is because Allen has missed too many games. But he'll be there if he can get healthy. Hoskevy. Far post, he was going on a pass, but Manning is there. Hoskevy, one of the more dangerous players in the league on those set pieces from the corner. Johns was way up. If he ever lost that ball, would have been goodbye. No one would have been back there. Now it's Billy Ronson. On the attack for Chapman. It squirts by him, and P.J. Johns is there. Good long throw by P.J. Johns for Craig Allen. Allen wanting to go to the inside and then back outside. Great defense by Reynolds.
That was well done by Reynolds. He used his body legally. He just got himself between the ball and Craig Allen and was able to force him off the ball, which is not easy. Craig is a strong player.
Here's Chapman. 3-on-4. Furphy. Nice foot save for P.J. Johns. Headed by Ward and now chested down by Kai Hoskevy.
P.J. did a good job there holding his ground. Some goalkeepers would have been starting to go down low and may not have been able to react to the shot. He held his ground and waited for the move to be made by the attacking player.
P.J. Johns backed up today by Chris Vaccaro. Now it's Craig Allen. Leaving it, Peter Ward. No one picks him up. Manning, great play. And then he reached back. May have taken a little bit of a kick there by Ward, but he is apparently okay.
He showed some guts there because he came flying out just as Ward was shooting and smothered it.
And that ball is tossed up into the crowd. I think that gives Scotty a chance to breathe. He's hunched over. There's a look at him.
He got hit pretty hard.
That's a dangerous position
to play. You see Peter Ward follow this ball up opportunistically. Follows it again, and then there's the contact made as he goes for the rebound. Manning grabbing it at the last second. Ward still following through on the attempt to shoot it in the goal and got a piece of him.
So while they take a look at Scott Manning, we'll be coming right back. Baltimore leads over Cleveland 2-1. We'll update you on the goalkeeping situation when we come back.
Play where Manning comes out, smothers the shot by Ward. Ball is still loose. Ward goes after it, makes contact with Manning's head with his shin. So that mustn't have felt too good. But here we see Manning. Looks like he's recovered. He wasn't shaken up too badly. He's ready to play again.
Steve Parker, the trainer of that squad, talked to him, and they'll ask some pretty stupid questions, it may sound like, but they want to make sure that the player is not seriously hurt, and that's one way to find out. Right wing side now. On the run, the shot taken is blocked. That's the first shift for rookie Mike King. Michael King from Fairleigh Dickinson University. Now back the other way, Dargo, right there where he has to be on the dangerous Drago. Force and Baltimore are probably two of the prime examples of teams that are really looking hard at the collegiate draft. So hard, in fact, that the Force traded Alex Tarnozzi to New York to get the #1 pick. Many people feel that it will probably be John Kerr, who's won all kinds of postseason awards this year. Michael King spinning around, broken up, and now it is Bruce Savage for Stankovic. Tell you what, Skinner has not looked bad on the back, has he? Replacing Tim Whitman. And they've got, without Whitman and Chinapoo, you're talking about a real all-star defense being whittled down.
Exactly. But Vernon Skinner, very powerful, fast individual. He's able to react to the forwards' moves and get back. Even if he is beat, he's back in there.
Plus, he wants to play. You know, he hasn't had that much of an opportunity. So that desire and in front of a big crowd and a national telecast, that helps.
Big shot for him.
Ball is tossed up for Drago. He says, why no foul? As the ball is played back the other way. P.J. Johns with a Keith Furphy says, never mind, go back. Now it's DeLuca. Upfield for Michael King, broken up. Drago, good work rate. Come right back and win it. Drago plays it back to Scott Manning.
I think mostly he's trying to get away from some of the Cleveland defenders. He might find a refuge in his own half of the field.
That's one way. And now Baltimore still retains it. Drago likes to go side to side as well, and he's the kind of a player, the first player that they have really that can go coast to coast, up and down. That's one of their forwards. The rest of the forwards play a lot closer to goal, and they're all skilled players, but they're all the same type of player as opposed to Drago.
When I played against Drago, I've marked him before, and he's a slippery character. You think you've got him, you're marked up tight on him, all of a sudden you turn around, you can't find him. He's over there at the far post, wide open, and you're lucky if they don't get the ball into him.
Well, with his shaved head now and the headband, at least he's easy to spot. Stankovic, you can't come back and say, Coach, I didn't see him. Stankovic, right-footed shot, and that's blocked. along the boards. Cleveland trailing 2-1. Here they come. Valentine lead ball. That looked like a good one, but Reynolds was right there. So Reynolds doing it offensively. We've already told you he had the first goal, but that's a nice defensive play.
Good reaction by Reynolds. At the point, they were caught numbers down, and he was able to cut the pass out.
Cleveland is a good counterattacking side with all that offensive firepower. Reynolds slipping by Dargle, then picked up by Bernie James. And now they're going to call Reynolds for pushing off. So that's the first blast foul. There are 2 on Cleveland as we look at the rookie from George Mason University. On the left side, Stollmeyer. There are your fouls this quarter. 10:25 to go in the third quarter. Tight game in terms of your score. Baltimore up 2-1. Stollmeyer, the right wing. Going long for Allen. Savage, good read. He just steps in there and wins the ball cleanly, and here he comes. No pressure on him, so he's allowed to take it up the floor. Savage now for Drago. Great turn, but he didn't get enough, as much as he wanted anyway, on that shot.
He made such a good move there. I don't think he realized how much time he had bought for himself. If he saw it again, he would probably wait and beat PJ with a little bit more time.
Here's Valentine. Cleveland wants to get the equalizer here if they can. Has to be good, hard hit, but Savage was there to block it.
Bruce Savage does such a good job, it almost makes you look effortless.
Now Drago, nice cut for Brady. Johns is out. Great save. He's beaten there, and he would have won the ball, but there's a penalty because P.J. Johns used his hands outside of the box.
He came flying out, and that was his only option at that point. He would have been beat. He stuck his hand out, and now Cleveland will be down a man as it's 2-minute handball. P.J. Johns coming outside the area to use his hands.
So P.J. Johns will not sit, but someone else will as we look again.
Here, Drago forcing the attack on the Cleveland force. Brady following up P.J. Johns. The goal is empty here. If he doesn't stick his hand out, it's a goal. So it's a calculated gamble. They're going to play a man down for the next 2 minutes. If they can shut him out, well, then it was the smart play to put his hand out.
We're going to show you a near miss by Baltimore. This is the opportunity, Ty, where Drago found himself open.
The ball was played with Drago. His back's to the goal. You see how well he turns to beat his defender, and he had all that time and space. He didn't realize what a good job he had done on beating the defender. He would have taken more time to try and finish that one.
Look in the left-hand corner of your screen. There's a sign that says, "We, I guess, hate Furphy," but there's Keith's picture in a Cleveland uniform behind P.J. Johns, and P.J. didn't put it there. One of the fans there. Here's Furphy sliding it right side. Stankovic, now to Furphy. Baltimore operating with a power play that has been exceptional this year, 14 for 30, second in the MISL. Right side now it is Stankovic to Dave McKenzie. Penalty killing, force with a 71% efficiency among the top teams defending. And they've scored some shorthanded goals. Here's Stankovic, left footer, blocked by DeLuca, and it sails into the crowd.
I'm watching this power play by the Baltimore Blast, and I think one of the missing ingredients, one of the things that Baltimore can look forward to hopefully soon is the return of Dave McWilliams, the all-time leading American barn scorer in the MISL. He's mending from reconstructive knee surgery. He used to be a part of this power play. He'd get himself set up inside that area and pick up a lot of garbage and make goals for himself. He was the one that, a loose ball, hard-nosed player who could stick it in.
And he was very tough to move when he got his position set out there. And he is not scheduled to come back still for a while. They said maybe January. Now we're hearing maybe February, maybe later.
He and Bernie James had some good physical markups in that box. They're using their bodies.
There's Furphy on the left. Baltimore, as we said, second best power play in the league. They trail only San Diego. On the left, Furphy right across, and it's behind everyone except that man, but McKenzie's shot was blocked. Stankovic, who teased this power play. Right side, McKenzie in the corner for Drago. Not enough on the ball, and Bernie James comes away and dumps it. Look at how far up Manning was, trying to help out. Last time these two clubs met, remember, it was Cleveland winning it when Mepham scored in the same situation. His team down a man. Right side, and Mepham's out there. A shot taken, blocked by Johns. Headed down by Stankovic, but look out. Cleveland coming back in numbers. Now it's 3-on-3. Dargle over the line. 39 seconds of the power play, and now it's broken up. Right side, Stankovic and Valentine. Look at this effort. Valentine wins it. Cuts to the middle. Good work rate, Stankovic. Look at how calm, but maybe too calm. And now Stankovic trips up Valentine, and it's just a foul.
Great hustle by Carl Valentine. He kept dogging that ball, pressuring. When he lost it, he came up with it again. And Stankovic, an experienced player, it's hard to win the ball back from him. And Valentine kept fighting and getting a piece of it.
Mepham in a corner. Look out. He got Fraze down. Loose ball. Hooked out. Drago upended by Benny Dargle, who says, I didn't mean to do it, but that doesn't help Drago. He's down.
Benny got there just a little bit late. as Drago had shoved the ball sideways, his momentum carried him right through Drago. Here we have Valentine stealing the ball. Remember, his team is a man down. He's coming in on the goal to try a shorthanded one. Good defensive play by Stankovic, but Valentine does not give up. He keeps poking away, gets a hold of the ball, fights his way into the corner, and Stankovic trips him there.
And now we're going to see the injury coming up. Dargle on a hard tackle.
Benny Dargle just getting there an instant late as he was trying to follow through and hit the ball. The ball was already shoved to the side by Drago. He would like to see a 2-minute penalty. I don't believe it was an intentional hit. He was trying to get the man and the ball. He was just there an instant late.
Well, Dargle had a very quick apology. I'll tell you what, Drago cannot come back until the next guaranteed substitution because he did not get up and the referee brought the trainer on the floor. That's why Manning tried to get him up in a hurry. On the right side, now it's played over to left to McKenzie. The penalty is now over. Ward is back on. Murphy lost it off the header out of play, and the crowd salutes the penalty killers. That's a big penalty they just killed.
Exactly. A disappointing performance by the Baltimore power play unit, but give credit to Cleveland, to Carl Valentine, to Bernie James. They weren't letting them get it going.
Now the officials have called a timeout on the floor. There's a look at Timo Liakoski and Jay Hoffman, his assistant. They'll talk things over, as will Ken Cooper on the opposite side and his assistant, Jim Pollahan. Goal scorers, Reynolds and Brady for Baltimore, Bernie James for Cleveland. Two teams will be at full and equal strength. When we come back, it's 2-1 Baltimore. Coliseum, where this great crowd is gathered. What a weekend. They had over 12,000 to watch Dallas play, and there's obviously more than this here, as Baltimore is not letting the crowd bother them. They lead it 2-1, and one of the reasons is because of P.J. John's play, or else maybe there could be more goals the other way.
P.J. John standing tough here. Stankovic hitting a low, hard shot from the right side in the man advantage situation. P.J. John's knocking it out with the double fist.
And on the restart, Bernie James will put it in play. He and Benny Dargle, as we mentioned, are really helping out cystic fibrosis. They have a poster that has been used to help their charity efforts. And they're having a little post-game celebration here today to honor that charity. Here's Peter Ward down the left wing. Savage after him. Now with help from Skinner, they clear it. Turn back in, Desmond Armstrong. Quick shot, shooting was wide. Three guys out there now for Cleveland that have not played at all, except for one shift by King. King up front with Chuden. Desmond Armstrong is playing at the back. Chuden trying to get around his man.
Vernon Skinner's playing without a shoe. He's holding it in his left hand. He lost it on that last shot block he made. You see it, soccer play goes on. It's not like football where they get to stop and get a drink of Gatorade. He has to play. You see him right there holding his shoe in his right, and now he gets off for a change.
Now it is Savage. Drago, because there was a guaranteed substitution on that timeout, is allowed to come back on. Keith Murphy with it for Drago.
We're going to see this game open up here. Cleveland has to start making something happen. They're playing at home. The fans are going to demand it. And, you know, to beat Baltimore, you got to go at them. And it's going to go end to end.
On the right side, Ronson across the way to Bruce Savage.
I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't get a little more physical as well. I mean, there's a lot at stake here. You're talking about the top of the division, the Eastern Division. Of course, Dallas right up there as well. It's interesting you're talking about the crowd. Actually, the real game for first place was Friday night, but you have a bigger crowd for this game. It's important as well, but first place is not at stake here, but it's the rivalry. Yeah, Baltimore, people come to see Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore can sell more tickets right now than any other team in this building.
Exactly.
On the right side, Manning brings it up a few strides. Now it's knocked back for Scotty. Number 31 for the Blast. Telling his players to move around up the field, and he finds Drago. Drago, nice job to sell it. He scores with a brilliant goal. It's 3-1 Baltimore, and Manning will get the assist.
And that's why Kenny Cooper brought Drago to Baltimore. He's the kind of man that at this point in the match, what a crucial goal, opening up a 2-goal lead for Baltimore. Almost completely an individual effort. He had Stolmar out of position, was able to flick the ball behind him and pick it up on the other side. Here we go. Manning drives the ball long, almost just a release pass. But Drago gets himself into a dangerous position in behind Stolmar. Stolmar has to overcommit because he was out of position. A nice touch by Drago to be able to pull it back.
Great foot skill.
Exactly. And then he made no mistake tucking it in the corner behind P.J. Johns. There you go. That's magic there. There's not too many players in the league that have that kind of composure playing at that high of a speed.
He may have beaten the rookie Stolmar, but he probably could have beaten anyone else in the field.
Just about anybody, you're right.
Craig Allen now in the corner. The last two goals have been scored by Baltimore. Here's Valentine from Craig Allen. And how quickly Cleveland negated that last Baltimore thrust.
Well, like we said, this is opening up. You knew they couldn't keep that type of closed-up defensive type game with as many good players as there are, attacking players as there are on both of these teams. Carl Valentine's been having a brilliant game.
10 seconds apart are those goals, and that could be a very big momentum kind of goal for Cleveland. They were down.
So. They were definitely down. Without this, they're looking at a long road ahead of them trying to get back into this game. Good work in the corner. Valentine opportunistically tapping it away.
But that's how the boards really can help you. If you play those boards, and Cleveland played them rather well there.
And they reacted well to them also.
Valentine's 15th goal of the season. That ties him with DeFlorio and Haskavy. And Craig Allen gets the assist. By the way, on Drago's goal, he now has 2 with Baltimore, and both of them were big goals. And Drago now has 15 overall on the year. So 15 seems to be the charm number so far. Upfield now for Craig Allen. Bad feet and all. But he made a nice pass off those boards.
He engineered that goal, there's no doubt about it.
Now it is Stankovic over the line. Cuts to the outside on Haskavy. Haskavy doesn't want to give much room. There's that left foot. Broken up there as P.J. Johns made the save. Stankovic showing he can go with either side.
Good quick shot as well.
Allen back for Haskavy. For Valentine. You can hear the crowd now starting to pick up. That last goal brought them to life. On the right side, Stollmeyer. To Bernie James, and across the way it goes for Haskavy. Now Cleveland trying to settle things down. As it's intercepted, Savage will knock it out of the zone, and Haskavy just sends it right back in off the glass. Craig Allen against the rookie Reynolds. Spins to the right. Nice tackle.
Good reaction by Reynolds. He was partially beat, but he came back in and got a foot in.
He's got to do it again, though. Here's Allen turning, firing. Save made by Manning. So right after Reynolds made the play, now that ball is put up in the stands, you think he could have got a breather, but he doesn't get one.
Well, the onus is on Cleveland to continue to apply the pressure, and they're trying to force something, and they're thinking maybe they'll go after Reynolds, a young player, a rookie. Craig Allen, the experienced goal scorer, trying to make something happen there.
So far, the rookies have looked good this afternoon. A nice testimony for the way they're playing at the college level, and you played at the college level. It's getting even better than when you were a player.
Oh, the level of play has improved. There were good players when I played, but not in the numbers there are now. It's different parts of the country. It's really, the level has risen.
Well, if you want to find out more about the rules and about the MISL in general, the media guide and rulebook are now available. Just send your check or money order for 10 for the media guide, 5 for the rulebook to MISL Publications, 757 3rd Avenue, Suite 2305E, New York, New York, 10017. Back in the action in the corner, it's Allen from Haskavy. Haskavy getting free to shot, almost knocked in. McKenzie may have saved the goal, but it could just as easily have gone in. And now it is Valentine the other way. Turning it back for Haskavy. Momentum starting to pick up here on the part of Cleveland. Right back for Valentine. Just lost it at the last moment. He started to make his play and looked like he was going to go somewhere.
That last chance on goal there, Dave McKenzie doing a good job of being in the right position, but he almost paid the price by putting in his own goal.
Craig Allen tried to back you. Nice steal. Vernon Skinner, who was doing a little holding, but he got away with it. And here he goes. Down the left wing. He's got a shoe back on. That's nice to see. Otherwise, he couldn't sprint like that. He'd be hopping. Back for Billy Ronson. It's 3-2 in favor of Baltimore. 3:49 to go, but this is only the third quarter. There's still a lot more indoor soccer to come your way. Savage now with it as Baltimore changes up. Keith Murphy, the longer he holds the ball, the longer he gets booed there. He'll block the crowd completely out of his mind, though. Savage. Now for Drago. Draws 2 players to him, but still gets it away. Reynolds miskicks it. Savage does a nice job just to get it. Now Murphy. Good play just to move it around because he was beaten there, and Cleveland could have gone the other way. It's 3-2 here in favor of Baltimore, but it could have been a tied-up game as Dave McKenzie made a nice block in front of the goal the other way, but it still almost went in.
This came from a set play as Haskavy laid it into Craig Allen. It goes back to Haskavy here. He's through in behind 2 defenders. He shoots for the 4 posts. McKenzie's there. If McKenzie doesn't block it, there's another Cleveland player ready for the tap-in, but in trying to block it, he could have had an own goal, and that would have broken Baltimore's back at this point.
Looked like it went off the side of his foot, and that's why it kind of hopped the way it did. But Baltimore got the good bounce. Now it's DeLuca, picked up quickly by Murphy, and now Paul Child out for his first chip. Child with 29 goals last year led Pittsburgh. Up the right side. Into the corner area, Savage getting some help from Manning in terms of encouragement, and now it's played back.
Talking about Paul Child, that would be nice to see him and McWilliams on the same line. They'd be battering a few defenders instead of the other way around.
You talked about McWilliams and Bernie James. How about Child?
Oh, yeah.
And watch when Child touches the ball. He's less popular here than Furphy. At least Furphy used to play here. Long toss up the floor. Now it's Michael King. Leaving it off for Peter Ward. Baltimore getting caught in the change. Ward, shot, save, rebound, went right by DeLuca. Mepham was bothered by Stankovic, who held him. Gino DiPolito right on that. That's a good call. Stankovic did impede Mepham's progress, but boy, Cleveland almost got one right there.
Good save by Manning. He was a bit lucky that when it did come off his hand, that there weren't no Cleveland players ready to take the rebound.
They were in a little deep as that ball came out a little far. Now to the right side. Michael King from Fairleigh Dickinson. Dargle around the boards for Peter Ward. Blocked by Furphy. Played it all the way across. Mepham open for the moment. Off the boards. He wanted Dargle. Never gets there. Now Mepham after it. Leaves it off for Michael King. Left point for Dargle. 2:03 to go. Third quarter. 3-2 Baltimore. Around the boards. Manning. Blasted off there. Kept alive. And now cleared out by Skinner. All the way downfield. Johns pressured from Child. And now ball intended for Mepham. And Savage will end up with it. For Stankovic. Paul Child once had 8 points in a single game. And when he's open around that box area, he's very deadly. Maybe Kenny Cooper hoping that he can get one of those here. Perfect. Takes the shot to a screen. That's blocked. And on the left side, it's Peter Ward. Over the midfield line. Michael King trying to get position on McKenzie. I thought it might have gone the other way.
Now, it was a good play by King to put his body in between there and draw the foul, actually. It's legal obstruction. McKenzie trying to get to the ball, fouls him.
Maybe I disagree with McKenzie because he and I used to be in Pittsburgh together. I don't know.
No, he was playing the ball. It was just it was an alert play by Michael King.
Ball is cleared back the other way. Picked up on the right side. Stolmeyer for King. McKenzie clearing it on the flick, intended for Child. Too far, and Bernie James. Settling it is Stolmeyer. The rookie leaves it off for Bernie James. Now Baltimore back to their high pressure. They have Child on with Ronson and Furphy, Skinner and McKenzie. Now Child to the bench for Drago. They wanted to bring Child out in the third quarter, probably because they'll use him in the fourth and get him wet a little bit, get his feet wet, instead of coming in a little cold in the fourth and what could be the deciding quarter, and it more than likely will be with one goal separating the two teams here. James long for Haskeby. He tried to pass it for King, and he's taken down by Skinner.
Skinner using a little physical tactics on Haskeby there. Wanted to make sure Haskeby couldn't do exactly what he wanted to do with that head ball.
Then he succeeded, but Haskeby will get it back. He's a man with a mission right now. Skinner, stride for stride, and then knocks him into the board. Haskeby wanted to get two, but he doesn't.
He dramatized that a bit. He does get hit here, as you see, but then you see him throw the extra altitude into his dive. That's not a bad idea. You may have drawn 2 minutes there.
Haskeby on the restart. Blocked by McKenzie. And now Manning will pick it up. And now Baltimore will have the ball. Keep in mind, we haven't been updating you, and I just noticed it now, but Baltimore does have 5 fouls, and Cleveland has 4 with only 24 seconds to go. And the Blast will be putting it in play. Scott Manning rolling it right side to McKenzie. Quickly on him is Ward, so McKenzie cuts it back. Manning, left side Stankovic. Look at this high pressure now for Cleveland. Played over to McKenzie. Baltimore wanting to stretch out the force here and get to that ball, and now the ball just got by Mike Reynolds in the corner. Lost by Stolmeyer, but P.J. Johns is there. Time running out. Third quarter is now over as the horn sounds, ending 3 quarters of play, and the Baltimore Blast, after 3 quarters, still are leading in this game by 1 goal. Goals by Reynolds, Brady, and Drago. James and Valentine have narrowed the gap for Cleveland. It's 3-2 Baltimore. We're coming back with the deciding fourth quarter in just a moment. Is that Baltimore's leading Cleveland 3-2, but another part of it, the attendance, 17,237. They're now averaging better than 14,000 a game here in Cleveland. Let's show you some of the things that have happened to get the score a little bit closer at 3-2. It started out as a 2-1 lead for Baltimore, but here's Manning and Drago going to work.
Here we see the great individual effort by Drago, set up by a great long pass by Scott Manning, the goalkeeper getting the assist. Drago sort of toys with Stolmeyer and then tucks the ball away past P.J. Johns. Not much chance for P.J. Johns from that angle with the goal scorer, a good finisher like Drago is.
That was a big goal to make it 3-1, but
Cleveland came back 10 seconds later. Craig Allen fighting the ball off the boards, finding Carl Valentine open in front of the empty net. good work by Craig Allen along the boards there.
That's a big score because Cleveland really didn't have time to get themselves down. They didn't get into a rut there, and they could have because they had given up the last couple of goals, and Baltimore was starting to take charge here. Look at that stat. That's not coincidental, is it?
I don't think so. It has something to do with Kenny Cooper's idea of how the game should be played. When you get a lead, you make it count.
Well, he's either going to be 9-0 here, or they're going to suffer their first one to go against that streak. Well, we'll see. Up the left side for Craig Allen. The other way. Cleveland has a record that's just as impressive when they're leading at the end of 3, but right now that's not the case. They're 2-3 this season when they're behind after 3. The right side now, it is Reynolds. All the way back it comes. In the last 67 games Cleveland has played, they're 33-3 when leading after 3. It's the great teams can hang on to those leads when they have it at the end of 3 quarters.
That's a function of experience and presence of mind that they're able to, play some possession ball and attack and play hard when it does count and not take unneeded chances.
And I think your point, what you said about Ken Cooper, you could say the same thing about Timo Leakoski. Coaching does have to have something to do with that somewhere. Bernie James leaving it off for Haskeby. 3-2, one more quarter to go unless we go overtime. Craig Allen across the way. Right side, James from Valentine. James again, nice save. Scott Manning. Rebound though. Allen will keep it alive. And now he's muscled down by Stankovic. Long ball, they try to spring Drago again. But he can't get there. Stollmeyer is back. But again, we see that new element in the Baltimore attack.
He can counterattack very quickly. He opens that game up almost instantly when the ball changes hands. Drago, quite an addition to this Baltimore team.
Both Manning and Van Aaron are good distributors of the ball, so he's going to help him with that long bomb threat. Right side, James off the boards. Allen was getting into position for that rebound, but it never came. Bernie James with it, 13:22 to go. Fourth quarter, 3-2 Baltimore leading it.
Bernie James looking to be a catalyst again. He got them back in the game at one point, and he's pushing forward again.
Nice back heel. Stollmeyer scores. It's tied.
Well, there you go. The Cleveland Force not giving up. Keep pressing the Baltimore into their own end. Good setup. Stollmeyer following his own pass into Allen. Allen laying it off very nicely with the back of the foot. Stollmeyer all the way in against Manning. Here's Stollmeyer laying it into Craig Allen. Allen posts up with his back to the goal, holds off the defender, and then slides it through to Stollmeyer. Just a little toe poke with the right foot. If he'd have waited to wind up with his left as it came across his body, it would have been blocked. You see the defender picks him up, Stollmeyer, at the last minute. Drago hustling back, not in time as Stollmeyer gets the toe in under Drago and under Scott Manning as well.
One of the things that Craig Allen can do so well with his back to goal, it makes it tough for a defender, but that time when Stollmeyer made the support run, Drago or whoever has to be with him, if they're not, Stollmeyer is open.
And Allen had the presence of mind to hold that ball long enough for Stollmeyer to get into position.
A low shot goes wide, and now it's DeLuca clearing it the other way. McKenzie back for it, now the blast. Lose it. Ward walks in, save made, Scott Manning. That's a real big one there, considering that Baltimore has just given up the tying goal.
I thought he may have used his hand outside the area there. It happened so quickly, and the crowd didn't react, so maybe I didn't see it right.
Ronson plays it back to McKenzie. He would have felt bad on that one because Ward had taken the ball away from him. McKenzie up the left side to Furphy. So Baltimore at one point had a 2-goal lead, and they've lost it here as Dennis Mepham gets the ball back. He was just inducted into Bowling Green State University's Hall of Fame on Saturday. Manning comes out, knocks it away, but it's collected by Ward. Baltimore having to get back defensively, and now they're on Mepham. Center point, Benny Dargo. Right side for DeLuca. Now Dennis Mepham for Michael King. Taken down by Skinner. Foul is going to be called. What's it like playing when there's 17,000 cheering the other way?
You can't beat it. You get out there and you hope you're on the winning side because you get that kind of recognition from the great fans here in Cleveland. It's got to make you feel good.
Dennis Mepham with it. Sends it far side, misses everything. But it will find its way to Benny Dargle at the right point. Across the way, Dennis Mepham with it. Paul Child on it. Played up for Michael King. Back for Mepham. The steal was made. Child tackled away by DeLuca. And they're going to call a penalty. Well, you know, Child was looking, I thought, at least for a foul, but I don't know. I thought Mepham had gotten the ball. Or DeLuca, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Actually, it was pretty much a textbook example of a slide tackle. He He hooked the ball, and the contact to Child was incidental. It was some hard contact, and Child was moving at a high rate of speed, so he went flying.
Well,
but you're right. You'll see here as Child trying to break quickly down the field on the counter attack. DeLuca pokes the ball away, and then the contact to Child is incidental. I disagree with that call. Well, contact is a part of this game, and when the ball is played, the other contact is only incidental, should not be called. It's definitely not as 2 minutes. Another good view of it here from a different angle. Good slide tackle. He hooks it around him. The contact with the player is made after the contact with the ball.
Here's Baltimore on the power play. McKenzie up the boards, and Drago will give them the go-ahead goal. 4-3 Baltimore.
Well, that may stand up as a very controversial call. You see Baltimore taking the lead again on the power play after a questionable call on a slide tackle by DeLuca on Paul Child.
Time of the score, 3:28-22.
The ball laid in off the boards. It goes past a couple defenders. Drago all alone. That's hard to believe, but when you're a man down, it's difficult to cover all those spaces around the goal.
Drago and Dave McKenzie, former teammates in Pittsburgh, and I know McKenzie, for one, is very glad to have Drago on the Baltimore Blast side. It's 4-3 now. Baltimore has got the lead again. Down the right wing, Haskavy wanting to turn. Haskavy in a corner, Brady on him. All the way out to Bernie James. On him is Ronson. James tried to leave it out for Valentine. He won that ball there. Good thing, 2 Blast players against him. And now Bernie James tries to settle it down. Cleveland has had to come from behind all afternoon. They've never had the lead, although they did well just to tie it. There's still a lot of time, though, left in this one. And if you've ever watched the Cleveland Force play, you don't turn off your TV set here. Or if you've ever seen the MISL, you don't turn it off. Right side, Haskavy. Sending it long, looking for Craig Allen. Allen trying to spin on Reynolds, and Reynolds got called for holding. Or pushing.
He pushed him from behind on that one. Allen backing into him, trying to make some space for himself. Reynolds reacting by giving the push and the call by Gino DiPolito. And to give a little bit of credit to Gino on that last controversial call, from his angle, he may not have seen the contact on the ball.
He's behind.
Because DeLuca's body is between him and the ball.
That's right.
He sees only the contact to Paul Child.
Haskavy to James, and he puts this one upstairs. Or as they say in the business, that's a commercial shot, so we will take it. Baltimore leads over Cleveland 4-3. Stay with us. There's still 10:54 to go from Richfield. He got the goal that gave him a 3-1 lead here, and now he gets the goal to put him up 4-3 when momentum could have gone again the other way. Long ball now the other way, and Bernie James and Drago are after it. Drago going down. He ran into Bernie, and he took the worst of it. Now it's Stankovic getting it back for Skinner.
The fans got a kick out of that one, too. You saw Drago sort of bounce off of Bernie James.
Drago cutting, nice cut, but then couldn't handle the ball. He made a great move there. Had he been able to retain possession, he at least gets a good scoring chance, but he may still get one. He holds it for Stankovic. He was delayed nicely by Bernie James because there's no foul called.
Well, there's no foul call there because they're both using their arms to access. Stankovic, one of the better players in the league at using his arms. He put his arm into Bernie James initially, so Bernie had to fight back by trying to shove him out of position. There's Craig Allen using his arm, yeah.
Both teams pretty good in these one-goal games, as the previous stats showed you. And it's 4-3, Baltimore, less than 10 to go in the game. Right side, Valentine blows right by Skinner into the corner. Still free. Now Manning comes up with it. Skinner actually does a nice job to basically legally hold him from behind. If you want to call it legal, here's Haskavy. Takes the shot, poked by Allen. And he changed the direction. The ball looked like it was headed closer the other way. Now it's Brady on the run. Dargle and he, shoulder to shoulder. Michael Brady leaves it off. Brady has one goal. Drago off the boards. Brady, nice job to try to settle that, but it hopped too much on him. And now it is Reynolds. I'll tell you, true to Kenny Cooper's word, he said he's going to use rookies and inexperienced players today, and he's used them. I mean, it's a regular shift for all of those guys as that ball goes over 3 lines. Kenny using those players, and that's one of the reasons why he felt he was able to trade Buriano and Matthews. Here's the ball played in for King, and Manning just took a kick late.
That was good vision on Kai Haskavy's part. He made that a one-touch pass right into the center. Michael King streaked into the open. He just couldn't handle the ball when it did get to him.
That would have brought the crowd to their feet, to say the least. Here's Ronson getting it by Dennis Mepham over the midfield line. Billy Ronson can go. Far board sends it all the way back, and Dave McKenzie gives it the chase. McKenzie usually is the 6th attacker as well for Baltimore when they have to pull their goalkeeper. Reynolds, lead pass broken up. Mepham, good work rate. Now it's Dargle to Dennis Mepham. Baltimore wanting to go to a high pressure here. Now Furphy slides off, picks up Dargo, played up for King. Hey, Timo Liakoski's playing his young players. Yeah, King playing fairly regular in the second half. To Peter Ward. Ward spinning. In fact, I don't think we've seen Gino DeFlorio in a while. He may have been taking part of his spot. Ball dumped into the corner. What benches, though, when you can bring off Chris Chuden and put him on as a reserve, when you can bring out Paul Child the other way. So both of these clubs don't have a depth problem, and the rookies have been able to play very well today.
That's one of the big differences in this league compared to a few years ago. Teams didn't have that type of depth that could turn to anything.
Ball played into King, in the corner. And now double coverage, double team, and King is going to be called on a tripping foul for upending Mike Reynolds. Ball will be put in play now by the Blast. 2 fouls in Baltimore, 1 on Cleveland, 7:50 to go in the game, but it's a 1-goal game, and it's still anyone's game at this stage.
Don't count Cleveland out. They're playing in front of the big home crowd, and they've pulled back already a couple times in this game.
They've got a 4-game win streak they'd like to continue. Baltimore has won just 1 game in a row after they went through a 7-0 start, and then they were 4-7 now in their last 11. Ball played out to Stankovic. He guns it from 70, but that's blocked wide and picked up by Valentine. Valentine has had a good game today. Has to be among the candidates anyway for our Metropolitan Life players of the game. Ty and I will pick one from each team. Or maybe Ty will pick them and I'll just nod my head and say, yeah, good choices. On the left side, Michael King trying to get around Savage. That's easier said than done. Upfield for Drago, trying to turn inside. Stolmeyer doesn't buy that fake.
Good defensive play by Stolmeyer. You know, some players might have panicked having Drago at that part of the field with that much space behind him, but he reacted well and got a piece of the ball and kept the possession.
Especially after he was burnt on an earlier goal. Obviously, he wasn't remembering it there. Ball is played back the other way. Now on the right side, Brady. Working it. Nice reverse. Oh, they had Drago open, but Skinner, or make it Reynolds, couldn't control. Long pass the other way. Allen was wide open, but Stankovic got a flick on it.
You see Cleveland taking their chances. They're leaving Drago open sometimes because they're forcing people into the attack.
Here's Drago beating Stolmeyer again, but the save is made by P.J. Johns.
That didn't miss by much.
No, Stolmeyer's got to be tired. That's got to be near the end of his shift. They may need oxygen. He's still out there. But we could see as soon as Manning had made the save, Cleveland tried to change up a little bit, and he was throwing long all the way for Drago. But we saw earlier Craig Allen was left behind, and that's one reason why maybe Drago is going to be open. But they took that gamble, and had that ball gone to Allen, he was in cold turkey against the keeper.
As you see a game get into the later stages in general, there's more and more space on the field. Players a little bit more tired. They're less likely to be marking up tight. So that's when players like Drago, your more dangerous players have more space to work in there.
Ball played hard to James. He'll send it on its way. He wanted Craig Allen. McKenzie sees it. It went over 3 lines. 6:10 to go in the game, and it's a 4-3 lead in favor of the Baltimore Blast. Drago's goal right now is the one that put the Blast ahead. McKenzie now puts it in play. All the way to the left wing boards. Intended for Chop. Bernie James won't let him get any kind of movement. And now it's P.J. Johns. Rolling it right side. Look how deep Craig Allen is to receive that ball. Normally he's way upfield. Now it is Haskavy. McKenzie on him. Ty Haskavy, one of the all-time greats in the MISL. Plays it through Valentine, and Manning basically takes it off his shoe. On the left side, it is Ronson looking for space for Child. Child not as tired as the rest of the players because he didn't play at all in the first half. That might turn out to be a good move, keeping him back, because Baltimore has a lot of forwards, and right now it seems like Child is taking Chapman's spot. Long shot, and Johns hangs on to that rebound. Struggled it for a moment, maybe then saw Paul Child, said, I better hold on to this ball.
Now, he did well to hold on to that one. As usual, Paul Child following up anything in the penalty area.
Right side for Valentine, knocked back to Haskavy. Kai Haskavy holding it. Sending it in long. Wanted Craig Allen. Bruce Savage is there. You can put a clock on Bruce Savage, you'll find that he has not missed too much action in this one. Here's Stankovic the other way. Stankovic, double team, but he still gets free. Cut it back, and on his left foot, had that ball not been slightly blocked, he may have had a goal. Good effort by Stankovic. We were talking before about Savage, and if everyone's healthy, he'll still play a lot, but without Chinabu back there, who's a great player, and without Whitman, who's becoming one, it's tough. Here's King from Ward. Michael King brought Manning out, but Manning got the leg out and made a great save.
Manning showed good instincts there in coming out low and smothering that shot and waiting for King to make the move first.
Brady now plays it back. Scott Manning. King's getting some opportunities, too.
He is. He's getting into some dangerous places. He still doesn't quite have the presence of mind sometimes in those tight spaces to be able to execute at high speed, but that'll come as he gets more experience.
You took away my question and my answer with that last comment. That's what I was going to ask you. Here's Dargle. Neutral zone. Time remaining 4:15. Baltimore up by 1, but Manning showing you why he has that label for coming up big in the big games. Here's Drago working against Drago. Takes him outside. A wicked shot wide. Murphy couldn't get that rebound. It was up too high, but he was there on the follow-up. Now it's Meppel. Less than 4 minutes to go. 4-3 Baltimore. Dargle. This is your typical Baltimore-Cleveland game. 1 goal separating them, and 17,000 are here. And in Baltimore, they can't fit 17 in their building, but they'll come close to if they don't sell it out whenever these two clubs meet. Dargle now for Peter Ward. On the right side, Dennis Meppel. Broken up Ronson. Look at the effort by Meppel to win the ball. So he was down, but not out. DeLuca. Right side, Peter Ward. For Dennis Meppel. Cuts to his right foot. Wanted to bring it back left. Now Drago, who was playing up, comes back a little bit. Everybody on a man. Michael King. Crossed away to DeLuca. Now for Peter Ward. Ward makes a good run. Takes a shot, though, and it's too high. Had to wait and see if anyone got a piece of it, but apparently not. It is an official's timeout on the floor. So stay with us. We're coming back with the most exciting close. 3:15 to go, and Baltimore up by 1. But in some cases, Ty, he doesn't have to score to be effective.
No, right away, he's keeping Cleveland totally on their toes. As the ball changes hands, as soon as Manning gets the ball, you see him sprint into the open space trying to launch the counterattack. Here he receives the ball, and it's just a little bit behind him, or perhaps he's behind Benny Dargle and in on goal.
Now, Cleveland is not going with the 6th attacker, which they could do, but they feel that with their offense, at least for right now, that they have enough chances to win it with what they have.
They've been applying strong pressure, and they've been able to crack the Baltimore defense when they had to earlier on in the game. So
now that was, I'm sorry, that was an official's timeout, so Cleveland still could get there. So if they don't like what's going on now, they can always call one, and Baltimore likewise has one to call as well. Brady with it. Playing it back. Reynolds pass, that was a bad one. It's picked up. Allen to Ward. The shot almost tied it up. Manning makes another brilliant save off the left foot. On the rookie mistake, Reynolds tried to pass it where it was congested. And it was bing and then bang. Once Allen picked it off, he knew where Ward was. And Manning saved the day.
He did. Some keepers might go try and get their body down for that one, and they won't get down there quickly enough. He just stuck the foot out. That's experience in indoor soccer.
Would have been a tough break for the rookie because he has played extremely well today, and he wouldn't even remember that first goal if that one had tied it. Stankovic on the restart from right in front of the Cleveland Fours bench. There's Chris Chuden, number 7. Stolmeyer, the rookie, 19. It was a quick whistle down there. Let's see what that's about as Marty Templin comes running over.
5-second restart warning for Baltimore.
5-second restart warning, and that's against Baltimore. Well, they'll give them another chance at it. They want him to play it within 5 seconds. There's Kenny Cooper, well-dressed, great-looking sport jacket. But that's the first time I've seen him with a sport jacket on at this stage of the game. He's always got that off. The sleeves are rolled up. He's a tough competitor and a great coach. Ball is played long. And now Johns is there.
If we go to overtime, you may see him getting down to the shirt sleeves.
We may see him in a sweatsuit by then.
Well, that's up to Cleveland right now. They have to come up with the goal to tie it.
Bernie James to Kai Haskavy. Picked up by Dave McKenzie. The critical stage of the game now. 2:26 to go, and Cleveland needing 1 to tie. Kai Haskavy with it. Holding it, lifting it. Valentine on the volley. That would have been a spectacular play, but now Manning comes up with it. Oh, people would be standing for weeks if he scored on that one.
That was an unorthodox way to crack a defense. If that would have clicked, people would have been jumping out of the stadium.
They would have been out buying season tickets. Here comes Stankovic. Murphy had a chance to end it right there, but just shot it a little wide. And now Haskavy coming back over midfield. Less than 2 to play. He wants Allen. Craig Allen wants to turn. Open man. Haskavy score! It's tied at 4. And maybe that's why Timo Liakoski does not use the 6th attacker.
Exactly, and you can feel the excitement here as Cleveland gets back into the game with 1:53 left. What a beautiful goal here as you see Hoskevy coming in. It's a 2 against 3. But you know how well Hoskevy and Craig Allen, they've played together for 3-4 years now. Watch how well they combine here. Allen holding the ball long enough for Hoskevy to get into position. Hoskevy roofing the ball behind Manning, waiting for Manning to commit and putting it up over him with a blistering shot high into the net. Here he is. He ran onto it from about 40 feet away and put it into the top of the net.
Any higher and that ball is into the stands, but the great players can do that, and Hoskevy does. His 16th of the year. Don't go away. It's tied at 4. Back to Richfield, Ohio. They're rocking and rolling, and why not? This is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame capital now. This year, Cleveland just took that honor in competition with other cities. The man at the back, 16, Craig Allen, makes a good living with a lot of goals, but he can get some assists as well, and he proved it today. 3 assists.
He's done a great job, definitely a candidate for player of the game in my book. He can hurt you a lot of different ways. Here he's been setting up goals, and we mentioned earlier he's playing with an injured toe and an injured foot on different feet. He doesn't train much, and I think some of the players start to resent that he doesn't practice, but when he can perform like that, you know, he's going to shut up any critics that are saying he's not doing enough practicing.
I want to tell you that each winner of the MetLife Player of the Game will receive an attractive timepiece, compliments of Metropolitan Life. And I wish, Ty, you'd vote for me, because as you well know, I broke my watch yesterday, and I have to rely on you to know what time it is. Maybe you can give it to one of my friends, and they'll give it to me. I'm lost without a watch. Look at this crowd. 17,000 plus, and there was no sense talking after Hoskevy scored, because you wouldn't have heard it.
I got Craig Allen and Drago for each team.
Sending it in long.
That's right.
It went over the glass. In the 4th quarter, Minnesota leads Los Angeles 5-1, and Kansas City has come back over Chicago 7-5 late in the 4th quarter. If I put you on the spot here, they're going to play it for overtime with 1:48 to go?
Knowing both coaches and knowing the style of play they like to employ, I think they're going to want to regroup. You're going to watch it here. Cleveland not going to take any chances. Both teams are going to try and ice this. I'd be surprised if we don't go into overtime. I hope I'm proved wrong, because it would be an exciting finish, particularly if Cleveland did come up on time, and a great victory for Baltimore if they would be able to pull a victory here in Cleveland.
The game is so funny, though, that even if both teams play for the tie, somebody could end up with just a fluke goal, so it's crazy.
No, this game is unpredictable. That's one thing I've learned in 9 years of being part of the MISL.
And a late whistle, I thought, but a foul nonetheless on Baltimore. Cleveland has a couple of fouls, but right now Baltimore, looking up, they have 4. 1:40 to go in regulation time. On the left now, it's Drago. Knocking it back to McKenzie. Up for Mike Brady. He lets it go for Stankovic. Knocked back the other way to Savage. A 4-4 tie, and the Force have come back several times this afternoon, showing you why they're on top in the MISL's Eastern Division. Stankovic, nice cut. Around Hoskevy, the shot off the post, and the rebound was too far away for Drago to put anything on it. Brady knocks it back the other way. I was ready to turn on the red light when Stankovic was open like that.
Stankovic's the kind of player that at any point he can turn the whole game. And we're in the clutch right now, almost in the final minute of play, and nearly put away the winner.
And now we're in the final minute as that ball went over 3 lines. So Cleveland will put the ball in play, and they get a second life there because Stankovic, 9 out of 10 on that shot, would probably bury it. On the right side, Craig Allen. Not to make an excuse, he is playing with a bad back. He's got Drago breaking here. Stankovic taken down as the whistle sounds and a foul is going to be called. Here's Mike. Tell you, one tough player. He's played in the back and also at midfield. And now, I think Stankovic was taking too long to get up. Let's see, Gino DiPolito, did he call out the trainer? I think he did.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he called out Steve Parker, and if the referee calls, they're just trying to speed up the game. I can't blame them. They're trying to speed it up, so if you don't get up in a hurry, if you try to maybe stay down a little long, draw the referee's sympathy, or maybe something extra, it's not going to help you.
That's a bad break for Baltimore. I know they like to have Stankovic on in these type of situations.
Absolutely. He could be one of the key players, if not the key out there, but Drago is the same. Out for Savage, across the way to Furphy. Furphy would love to get the game winner, wouldn't he? Above anyone else here. Drago will give it to Furphy. Right side shot, and he just missed the far post on his right foot.
You can see what he had in mind there, though. angle it low for the far post. If PJ overreacts towards the near post, it could be a goal.
Normally, Tate gets a lot of those goals with that left foot, but that time he went with the right. That was where his angle was. Valentine to Stonemeyer, who was open. Lost the ball, now finds Valentine. 10 seconds to go. It's tied at 4. Blocked by Savage. He takes a quick look at that clock. 5 seconds left. Haskavy, they're going to go for broke. He tried to go long, but it's blocked by Savage. Manning comes out and basically was doing his best to hang on to that ball, and he does right there. So, we are going in a sudden death overtime. I don't know if we could script these games any better, Ty, but the first 2 games were barn burners, and one went in a double overtime, Tacoma and San Diego. Look at the overtime records. Baltimore 3-0. Cleveland was 0-1, and then they beat St. Louis a couple of weeks ago. Both coaches have time to talk things over. Ty and I will talk about it when we come back, but right now, we've got a great one for you. 4-4. Baltimore and Cleveland in front of better than 17,000. They start the wave in Cleveland. They got enough people to do it. Better than 17,000 are on hand. And to show you, as we mentioned before in the MISL, how far it's come, they used to get 3,000 plus for games here. Now, they outdraw the NBA's Cavaliers. And with the exception of the Cleveland Browns, who really came to the forefront this year, the Force players are as popular as any other athletes in town. And they go out and they make the appearances. And one of the things that they're most proudest of is their fight against drug abuse. And for the last 2 years, they've been working in conjunction with J.M. Smucker Company. Approximately 60 times a season, Force players visit the local area elementary and middle schools, lecturing the kids about the dangers of tobacco and alcohol. The Force estimate that they've reached better than 7,000 people throughout Greater Cleveland. Well, these fans here are seeing some of the great players in the MISL. You'll see some more when East meets West on Wednesday, February 11th. You might see a lot of these players on hand as well, because players like Valentine, Haskavy, Allen, they've got to be considered among others on Cleveland's side, and Drago, Stankovic, Savage, among others on the opposite side. So that's basically a quick check at some of those players. Here's a goal that makes it 4-3, and Baltimore looked good here.
They had the power play, and they went ahead 4-3. Drago tucking it away. But then Cleveland, with just less than 2 minutes left in the game, fighting to come back into the game. Haskavy ties it up at 4. Great setup by Craig Allen.
Stats show Baltimore out shooting Cleveland 23-25. Cleveland had 9 shots that quarter and 5 for Baltimore, but it's the next goal that wins it, and I don't think you're going to see much tentative stuff here. Both teams want this one. Down the right side, Valentine. This place will go nuts if Cleveland comes in and wins this one in OT. Haskavy going long. Blocked by Savage. Drago plays it back to Scott Manning. Manning holding on to it. What a game this has been, though. Baltimore's had a lead each time, and a couple times by 2 goals, but Cleveland never dies, never quits.
It's been a hard-fought game going both ways, but Cleveland, you have to hand it to them for coming back into it. A couple times it looked like they could have given up on it, but they fought their way back in.
Here's Drago to Thompson, his first shift, and it goes upstairs, and another rookie for his first shift. Hey, give Kenny Cooper credit. He's rolling the dice. Thompson hasn't taken a single shift, and he throws him out in OT.
And this is a game of near playoff proportions. You're talking about fighting for the lead of the Eastern Division, and he's going in there and giving his young players a shot. You got to hand something to Kenny Cooper. Yeah. He's looking to the future.
Freddie Thompson from George Mason, the same school that produced Mike Reynolds. So hats off to Gordon Bradley, their coach. He's going to be smiling today if he's watching this telecast. Hope you're enjoying it back at home, wherever you're watching this one on ESPN, as Bud Sports and ESPN bring you our 3rd MISL game. First 2 were great ones as well. Here's Haskavy. Long ball, Allen knocks it right, intended for Valentine. Savage, quick look over the shoulder before he tossed it back to Manning. Scotty with a throw, intended for Furphy, that got by him. Johns is out, wins it for Stonemeyer, has to get around a couple of players. Oh, nice spinning move, great move. Are we sure he's a rookie?
He doesn't look like it today.
Craig Allen over the midfield line. Now for Haskavy. Sending it long for Allen. Craig Allen, broken up by Reynolds. Allen with 3 assists. The kind of guy that can win it for you. Leaving it off for Haskavy. On his left foot, low shot blocked wide as Manning went down. A better bounce, and Cleveland might have had a chance for a rebound. On the right side, Haskeby tied it for 13-13 in sudden death overtime. Next goal wins it. Benny Dargle to Kai Haskeby. Off the boards, wants Allen, broken up. Reynolds, great defensive job. Just getting into position.
Yeah, he had to be there, or Allen puts those away.
Stankovic leading Drago up the middle. James, stride for stride. Look at Bernie's speed. He's not supposed to be that fast.
Great hustle by Bernie James. You know how fast Drago is. He matched him step for step.
Drago's up limping. Now it is Haskeby the other way. Bernie James, I can tell you, could not go faster than that. Haskeby off the boards, loose. No one was there in front of the net. And now Brady brings it back with Chapman. Brady up the middle, taken down by Dargle, and he draws the foul. So, Baltimore will be coming in. Watch out, Brady. Look at this charge.
Baltimore fast breaking out of their own end with Drago and Brady. Benny Dargle comes in and puts a stop to that as Brady was starting to penetrate the Cleveland defense.
Drago being treated by Steve Parker. He came up limping. He was going stride for stride, and then he landed into the net and may have twisted or pulled something, but he may come back. Chapman off the boards. Save made right. T.J. Johnson is still loose. Oh, he was fortunate. Ronson couldn't come up with that ball. Ward and Ronson. No foul. Yes, they did get a foul. That's a good call.
That was a good call. He had the arms right up in his face. You got to call those.
Progress was definitely impeded. Desmond Armstrong out there now on the floor for Cleveland. So Timo Liakoski matching Kenny Cooper in terms of playing the rookies.
Exactly. You see.
That's great for confidence, like you were saying.
Michael King, Stolmar, they've all been contributing.
Right side, it's Peter Ward. Now it's broken up. Ronson. Nice play to get that ball. Lead pass, Chapman. Johns is out. He's going to win it. And he does, but he's back out of goal. McKenzie will get it. Baltimore almost had too many men on the floor. Two players did jump on, but they did not get past that white line, nor were they in the field of play. That would have been, I don't think you'd ever see it called like that. DeLuca sends it up the field. That's sort of a gray area on the too many men on the floor, but I think Baltimore would have had every right to complain if one was called there. It's sort of like hopscotch. It was like giant step. Take one step forward. Uh-oh. Jump back.
Guys giving each other the double look. Is it you or is it me? Should I jump? Yeah.
And they both jump back. That was like in tandem. Good choreography in front of Baltimore's side. I think one more step and you might have seen it called, but I think that they were okay. On a quick look, anyway, that was my thought. Here's Furphy around the boards. In a corner, James tying up Chapman, and he gets a piece of the ball. Now it's Furphy. 11:33 to go, and that's basically called as an offensive foul on Furphy. 11:33 left in sudden death overtime, our first sudden death overtime quarter, and it's even at 4. Cleveland's had a great comeback, whether they win it or not. Drago back on the floor for the blast. As we expected, take a lot more to keep him down. On the left side, Reynolds, or make it Freddie Thompson. Second shift, that's all. To the right side. Now it is Drago. All the way across. Stankovic getting free as Armstrong fell a shot deflected wide. And now picked up by Dennis Mepper. This game has had everything. Some great goals, some great saves. The American player, the rookie player, high profile today. Here's Craig Allen. 3 assists. Was going to backheel, faked it. Nobody joining him, though, on that right side. He was expecting some support, I'm sure. Stankovic knocking it now. Ball let go. Nice play between the legs of Thompson and Manning. And on the right, it's Dave McKenzie. The speed of Thompson, and he's not tired. He's not playing. There's a shot. Save. P.J. Johns lost the rebound, but no one there for Baltimore. Long toss, Craig Allen. Bumped by McKenzie. Joined on the run by Dennis Mepper. Allen waiting. On his left foot, the shot blocked. Drago may have saved the goal.
I think he did. Craig Allen made a great move and had a ball slotted for the lower left-hand corner. Drago slid in at the last minute to block it.
Well, the guy who can win games by scoring may have saved this one, at least for now, with that save.
Well, you know, JP, we haven't had any bad goals. These all been legitimate, well-executed goals.
Ward to Valentine, right back, but it's run back. Mike Reynolds basically delivered that ball to Manning. That was like person to person. Now it is Drago knocking it back. Mike Reynolds with it. Whatever people paid for this game, they're getting their money's worth and more. Here's Savage for Chapman. Turning, shooting it wide. Rebound just popped loose, and Chapman almost gets it again. Now for Savage. Blocked by Mepham. Furphy has to settle it off the boards. Loose ball, and P.J. Johns is right there. Now on the left for Dennis Mepham. Across his own red line. Now knocks it back for Benny Dargle. Dargle slides it across for Bernie James. Now Kai Hoskevy is on for the Force. The Force captain, third-year captain, sends it long for Peter Ward over the shoulder. Savage with him. Ward chesting it down for Dargle. Benny Dargle to the middle. Pumps it out right point. Hoskevy on it. A 4-4 tie in OT. Off the boards for Valentine with Reynolds on him. Lays it off. Hoskevy to drive. Score! The Force win it!
Can we change the player of the game to Hoskevy? Allen played great, but Hoskevy got the tying and the winning goal. Yeah, I pushed it. Maybe it doesn't work every time.
We'll let the Cleveland fans tell you the story here. Time of the goal, 6 minutes and 3 seconds, and Kai Hoskevy, one of the game breakers on this team, gets the goal that ties it with 1:53 to go, gets the goal that wins it in overtime, and they couldn't be any happier in Cleveland, and it's a very dejected Baltimore Blast team that has played well in 2 games on ESPN, and they're coming away jinxed. Here's the game-winning goal.
The ball's laid in here. Looking around, Carl Valentine lays it back to Hoskevy. Hoskevy knew what he wanted to do all along as he was rushing down the right side. Just hammers the ball high into the net. You see him strike the ball at full stride. Nothing Manning can do. The ball's just got too much power on it. Hoskevy scoring the tying goal with less than 2 minutes left to send it into overtime, and then getting the winner in the sudden death overtime.
All right, we'll tell you who the Metropolitan Life players of the game are when we come back, and the man who scored that last goal would be a pretty good guess on your part. 5-4 is the final score. The Cleveland Force have now won 5 in a row. Ty and I will be back to recap it in just a moment. Well, it's quiet now because people are filing out, but it's probably very noisy in the parking lot and down by the Cleveland Force dressing room because it was a great comeback today by the Cleveland Force. They win it 5-4. That means 5 straight victories, and not much to say about Baltimore except for a great effort. And I'll tell you what, there are a lot of choices today, Ty Keel, for the Metropolitan Life players of the game. And I know who your picks are. You, Sam, I've agreed with you.
Well, first of all, you have to go with Kai Hoskevy for the Cleveland Force. Oh, Drago. Drago definitely was always a threat. He had 2 goals today as well, and nearly made a couple in the overtime, and just a bit unlucky. You got to hand it to the man. He's added a new dimension to the Baltimore team. The quick breaks from Scott Manning's throws, always a danger around the goal. With a little bit of luck, he'd have been on the winning side today.
And even defensively, remember that block he made the other way.
Yeah, he saved the day for Baltimore defensively in the overtime. Kai Hoskevy, a clutch player. You got to hand it to him. Scores the tying goal with less than 2 minutes left in the game to send it into overtime. Great setup by Craig Allen on that one. The winning goal, I haven't seen many balls hit much harder than that. He hit it on the full stride. He knew what the situation was and what was warranted at that point in the game. When you're going to sudden death, you got to strike the ball at the goal, on the goal. You see him. Valentine posted up, got the ball off the boards, held off his defender. Hoskevy on the full run, just hammers it past Manning. What a well-struck ball. And what a fine finish for the Cleveland fans. They're 17,000 plus as Cleveland beats Baltimore 5-4 in the overtime.
Okay, our thanks to Ty Keogh for filling in for Seamus Mallon today. For our producer Kevin Schenk and our director Lou Ranoni, I'm John Paul Della Camera. We bid you goodbye from the Richfield Coliseum. Great game in overtime. Cleveland wins 5-4 over Baltimore. Good afternoon, everyone. The Major Indoor Soccer League Game of the Week has been brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. And by Metropolitan Life and affiliated companies. Get Met. It pays. This has been a presentation of Bud Sports.
Now you can avoid the high cost of hiring a professional